There we are. Oh, we lost the StreamYard. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. We see you out there. I'm getting notes about the what connections are not connecting. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
You have to reconnect to Facebook and YouTube quite regularly.
Yeah. Always fun.
Yeah.
No, this thing's not going away now. How great. There it goes. Sorry, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. We see out there the chat is open. The chat is empty, but come on in anyway. Hit that like button. Hit that love button. If you haven't subscribed to the Indie Comics Network, do that, please, immediately. We need all the subscribers so we can get our hands up. We're growing them organically, so we don't have to pay Russia to find subscribers for us. Come on in. Let me jump over to Facebook here real quick and make sure I'm live. Mitch is supposed to be here anytime. Scott Rosema probably won't show up.
No.
So
the not Scott Rosema show.
Yeah. Right, everybody, come on in. It's an episode of Sunday Funnies for the 25th already of September. Holy crap. Indie Comics Network's in the house. Indie Comics Network. I had a warning on the board this morning that they couldn't get to Nita Lanning Facebook page, just so you know. Atrocity Press is in the house. Hey, what's up? What up, Max? Hope you're doing well. Rich Perota. Hey, Rich. How you doing, bud? Haven't heard from you in a long time. Sup, Max? I know you've been busy, though, Rich, working on the roaring. So congratulations on that, buddy. Rich Perry also says, meh. All right. Be that way. It's okay. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We see you out there. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. We're here for the Sunday Funnies. So let's run that opening. And we'll get stuff underway. That's the promo. Here we are. Anyway, thanks for being out there. Come on in. We're here for the Sunday Funnies. We're going to talk about our favorites today. Our favorite what? I don't know, but it'll be our favorites. You know how the conversation on this show goes. Eventually, we'll be talking about everything else.
Everything else but.
Everything else but. I know of two local artists here that have gotten Judge Dred stories for 2000 AD. They were both one-shots, though, short stories. Guy Davis and Vince Locke have both done. Vince Locke did a lot of work on Sandman. Guy Davis has done a lot of work on Hellboy. Did Sandman Mystery Theater for a while. Did a lot of his own stuff. He's now doing art production work for Guillermo del Toro.
Oh,
wow. What a job.
Yeah. Designed quite a few of the kaiju, from what I understand, on Pacific Rim. So that's good. The kind of style, and stuff that he loves. So it's all good. He was working for Dark Horse for quite a while, and from what I understand, it put a bad taste in his mouth. So he was happy to get a production job.
Okay. Well done to him.
Yeah. Good on you.
Yeah, really. Come on in, everybody. Love to see you out there. The chat's open. People are still talking. The Atrocity Press is What Up Indie Comics Network. Since I got to type a hell of a lot to highlight your name. LOL. This is I got upgrade to a pro account, so I have to change my settings now. Yeah, there you go. Relaxing. Thank you. Kenneth. Ken's in the house. Ken, how you doing? GM. Okay.
Call me Kenneth. That was a character
Kenneth
from Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Dark Horse seems to be on the way out anyway. Atrocity Press says Dark Horse just signed a
Yeah.
distribution deal with Luna, and apparently old Jeppy kind of put out a response.
We don't need them.
Yeah.
It's this
Who?
Dark Horse. So we wish them the very best. Actually, we hope that they stick around for a while. Out of all of the secondary publishers out there, I think the most respect for Dark Horse because they've been around since 85, 86. I remember them well. They started up about the same time Arrow Comics started up. So, hey everybody, I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing comics for many, many decades. Been working in alternative and independent comics, freelancing, doing whatever I can, doing commercial sequential artwork, and just staying busy in general. So I'm happy to be here. I podcast 3 times a week on the Indie Comics Network, and this is one of them. So this is the Sunday Funnies program where we try to stay positive and try to put the fun back in funny books. So that's our goal here for this show. Now let's talk about death and destruction. No. Also joining me today is Glenn B. Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, my name's Glenn Fleming. Thanks for having me on the show, Randy. I'm an artist, writer and publisher. I created and draw and write this comic called My Character Hatch, and book 2 is coming out shortly. I recently published this book about my visits to Jack Kirby's house in the late 80s and 90s, and I also produced a DVD of those meetings of I'm there speaking with Jack in the studio. If you want a copy of this, get in touch with me. And I also publish Comics Unlimited, which is a 100-page quarterly about comics, interviews, artwork, and stuff like that.
Yep, Ragin 2 Promotions. Got a warning here. Oh, Facebook just keeps wanting to drop me notices. Just won't go away.
Well, you gotta love Facebook, isn't it?
Them and their algorithms are so phenomenal. Anyway. Also joining me today is Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hello there. I'm a comic book artist and illustrator from the UK. You can find me in things like Batman for the European market, and Doctor Who magazine, and my own stuff, Only Death Can Save Us, and a whole bunch of other stuff you can find out about me at russleach.com.
Sweet. All right. Atrocity says, I dig Dark Horse a lot. This is their business just seems to be hurting. Everybody's business is hurting right now, Max. So, and it's some more intentionally than others. It's like they like to shoot themselves in the foot, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So, Dark Horse does a lot of great work with a lot of great people. So. I think they just got. Did they just get Usagi Yojimbo back? I'm pretty sure that they did. They'll be printing the great Stan Sakai. They do Hellboy, all sorts of great stuff. My only regret with Dark Horse is they had a superhero universe that was pretty good, that I kind of liked. The one that really survived out of it was Ghost, and that didn't last long enough. So the licensing books are fantastic. Yeah. They had the Star Wars license for quite a while, and those books were good.
Aren't they getting that back?
No.
I thought they were, because Disney doesn't want to do the Star Wars comics anymore. It was at IDW, and IDW lost it. The
kid books, IDW had.
No, that they had some Star Wars stuff as well. Yeah,
Star Wars aimed at kids. The all ages books, just like the Marvel comics, all ages. Yeah,
I think they're looking at breaking it up.
Yeah, well, I know Marvel withdrew their license from IDW for all of their stuff, or Disney in general, I should say.
I thought everybody was giving up on publishing comics these days. Seems to be.
No, I think
are they still going?
I think the news that comic books are dead is highly overstated.
Way overstated. Yeah.
It's way overstated. But that said, that doesn't mean that the industry isn't changing, and it is. So, I can't give you any in-depth knowledge. I don't know, but I can tell you right now that I'm drawing Batman for the UK and Europe, and as far as I'm aware, it's the first time that's happened. So, obviously the.
Do you mean a separate
markets,
comic in Europe? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, separate because they do reprints. Panini do reprints as they did reprints of Marvel stuff, and for quite a while, Marvel Panini did original Marvel work because they bought effectively the licenses from Marvel UK. But when Disney bought Marvel, they said no, everything must be done in house, which is a bit weird for Disney because they tend to. They're not a publisher themselves. They get other people to publish their work.
Yeah.
But this is effectively what they're doing with Batman now in Panini, and we're obviously we're investigating the market. We're seeing how it's going, and it is for kids. It's not it's not like a grown up and adult market.
Yeah.
But still, it's it's original work outside of the US.
Who's scripting that for you?
This is Jason Quinn that's scripting these. Yeah.
Right.
So he's the editor on. From what I can tell, he edits all of the Batman books across the Panini range. So all of the regurgitated content from the US, but also he's on this as well.
You'd say it's kind of aimed at a young to mid-teen market.
Oh, it's between 8 and 15.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So no Frank Miller stuff then. No deep and dark stuff.
No. It's all light and airy and lots of action and fun.
Like it used to be years ago.
Yeah, lots of action and fun. I mean, the first issue out now was a story about a cat display. There was like like crufts or something, but for cats. And they were going missing, and of course instantly they thought it was Catwoman was to blame, but the Joker showed his face, and it was good fun. It was just great fun. They were you had to battle a lion and stuff, and Catwoman turned up with some meat in her bag or something like and got the lions and the tigers away, and then they chased the Joker down. It was just good fun.
Nobody getting killed and blown up and disfigured and all this.
No, exactly. The good guys win.
Carries a utility purse now. Is that what it is?
She had a utility purse, of some sort. It was a bag. We didn't make it a purse. It was just a bag. Right. And she disappeared. Of course, obviously, Catwoman does just disappear, and they caught the Joker. So no spoilers there.
It would have been good if it would have been Catwoman. They blamed it on the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why not?
But it was just the story after. We've got a Penguin story in issue 2, or that would be issue 5 of Hero Time Presents, because they swap with Spider-Man every other month, and which is a bit of a weird thing, isn't it? But it's the Penguin one is slightly different. It's I won't give it away, but there's like a massive flying penguin thing in it, so it's got shades of Batman 67. Do you know what I mean? Or 67, whatever it is. It's got shades of that, but we draw it sort of more towards it's more akin to your traditional sort of comic fare as far as Batman is concerned. We don't give it a kiddie sheen, and Jason's always been brilliant about this, and the writers we had for Doctor Who Adventures as well. You never talk down to your audience,
right?
Never talk down just because it's a kid. It's aimed at kids. Don't talk down to them.
Yeah,
and that's what we're aiming to do. So
I just remember back in the 60s that film with Adam West in it, where he was running around with that bomb.
Yeah, I hadn't had.
And he wouldn't throw it over the pier. There were nuns there, I think, and there was some little ducks
nuns and ducks, and
a woman with a pram, and
wasn't that the one where the shark was hanging on him?
He had the shark repellent in his belt. His belt. Don't worry, I've got the bat shark repellent.
Then there was another bit on that. But on the TV show when I think he was fighting the Penguin, because was it the Penguin who always had a lot of men around him, like an army around him?
They all did. They all did.
All these guys were dressed in black. I think they had bowler hats or something. But anyway, they were got a big machine gun with a belt on it, fire like a Vickers machine gun, firing at them. And Batman pulled out the bat shield from his cloak and folded it out, and then the machine gun stopped, so he folded it. And Robin said, "How did you know?" He said, "They've run out of bullets." He said, "How do you know they've run out of bullets?" He said, "I counted them." That's always stuck in my mind. I thought that was genius. There's no wonder my
Oh,
auntie
dear.
wouldn't let me watch it. I told you before, we used to go over to Sheffield where my auntie lived on Sundays, and I never saw the second episode until years later, because she would never let me watch it. I was only 12. She would never let me watch it.
Nice. That kind of stuff. That's brilliant. So
It is.
we've got a little bit of that. In the first issue, his henchmen are all dressed up as clowns, and I've got a couple of big. There's several henchmen for the Penguin, and they're all in black and white stripes, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's fun, you know.
Yeah.
And what I like about those kind of magazines is they have a lot of. I mean, you'll remember these, Glenn. I was actually rifling through a few of them yesterday when I was looking for old books, annuals. And you used to get comic strips in the annuals, but you also used to get quizzes and
prose,
word searches and prose stories and that kind of stuff. And we did a lot of that in Doctor Who Adventures, but they're doing a fair amount of that in the Batman comic magazines as well for us. So they get to there's activities like spot the difference. You remember spot the difference activities and mazes and stuff you can cut out and games, and I just think it's great because it's bundling all those things together, which make reading an activity. So I'm quite into that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the kids read, does it? As long as they read.
As long as they read.
That's the point. Yes.
Yep.
So that's good. But I was reading that when I was 13. I found this in the archive today.
Oh, look at that! That's gorgeous.
It's black and white.
Is that the American version?
It says Canada on it. Oh no, sorry.
Okay.
40, yes, it's the American. It says it's 40 cents in Canada. I thought it was Canadian.
Wow.
No, it's American. Yeah. So like everything else I've got, it's falling apart. But
yeah, that was their attempt to get into the black and white market using Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. Well read.
All washes and everything.
Well loved.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I very much John Romita at the.
I got 4 of these yesterday. They were just Judge Dred, and so it's a Judge Dred yearbook, 1994, 93. And
those are Titan reprints.
Yeah, Titan reprints. Yeah, but they're old. They're from 92, 93.
Yeah.
93, 92. They had a great piece in here about how to draw Judge Dred, but it didn't tell you how to draw Judge Dred. It just had some cutouts of some rather wonderful Brian Bolland illustrations. So it wasn't telling you how to draw it at all. It was just showing you how unable you were to be as brilliant as Brian Bolland.
Oh yeah,
how to draw Judge Dred, or how someone else draws Judge Dred. But the one that I did pick up was a collection of is it Ron Smith? Was that the artist Ron Smith?
That's Ron Smith. Yeah,
and Wagner, I think it was.
I remember distinctly them doing a Cursed Earth story that involved a wave of black spiders. That was just amazing.
It was hideous, wasn't it?
That was just incredible.
John Wagner and Ron Smith, and it's all the it's the Daily Star strips.
It's a daily strips. Let me blow that up. Yeah,
look at that.
These are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Beautiful strips.
I got to print most of those in the Flint Comics paper. Yeah.
So I got a reprint of that, which was rather nice. So I was just digging around the boxes in antique shops, basically.
Yeah.
I found this one as well. Not read it for a long time.
Find the best stuff. The John Byrne She-Hulk novel. Yeah.
Great artwork in it. But that's what you expect, isn't it, from John Byrne?
Yeah.
And I also found this, which I didn't enjoy. I don't particularly like Jim Starlin's work, but I did get that.
Oh, there you go.
I've got that. Yeah, wonderful. I like Starlin. Sometimes he does some weird things with faces, but I do in general like Starlin's work a lot. This is
that was the first ever Marvel graphic novel. Their first graphic novel to kill off Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I got this the other day as well.
As you mean to go on?
Avengers the Kang Wars.
Look at that. That is such a classic run right there. That starts with I think it's Giant Size Avengers #2. The entire issue is done by Dave Cockrum, who I just love. It's got a great splash page of Hawkeye.
Yeah, they've
right
got
at the beginning.
yeah, Dave Cockram. Oh, Vince Colette's on here as well.
Oh,
There you go. A lot. The pencilers are Sal Buscema, Dave Cockram, George Tusker, Don Heck, and George Perez.
Yeah.
With some embellishment from Keith Pollard. There you go. But what wonderful.
That's the entire spectrum right there.
Yeah.
Have they stopped producing the essential books now?
Yeah, they went ages ago. What they do now is these epic collections.
Because I love the fact that the essentials were in black and white.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you can see the artwork, you know.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. They look 20 essentials books. They're great.
The epic collections look like the essentials. They're almost as thick as the essentials, but they're all in color.
They're all in color. Right. Yeah.
Is that Al Williamson who's drawn that, Randy?
Oh, and here, yeah. This has got.
This
is their Star Wars volume. Again, it's got everybody: Chaikin, Lealoa, Springer, Palmer, Austin,
Simonson,
Wyatt, Milton, Gene Day, DeZugna, Holberg, Ray, Bill Ray, Klaus Jansen, John Tartaglione, and Dave Cockram and company. And that's just that's the inkers. There we go.
Can't go wrong, can you?
No, the pencilers were Chaikin, Infantino, Simonson, Trimpe, Al Cooperberg, Tom Palmer, Tony DeZugna, and Dave Cockram.
Just wow.
What a collection. Just like your Avengers run. Plus the Avengers run that you've got is almost like one continuous story because in succession, I think it was Englehart or whoever was writing that sequence, just had Kang as the main villain. He'd just come back. They'd get rid of him. He'd come back. They'd get rid of him. He'd come back. Always with a new hook or something else going on.
Brilliant.
After a while, I'm sure they kind of pulled him in the office. It's okay. Enough Kang, all right?
Yeah. I think they did that with Doom, didn't they, at one point?
It's time to stop that. Yeah.
Well, look at this. Look at this by Boone and this She-Hulk. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably a 2-page spread he spent a day on.
Yeah. Yeah. He took his time with that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one. It's this shield machine. You know, the flying thing.
The helicarrier.
Fantastic. Yeah.
The old style helicarrier.
Yeah.
He decided to take advantage of that, the larger format, the stretched out. Part of it. Yeah.
I was disappointed to hear last week when I asked you what John Byrne was doing. You said he was doing that fan art thing and publishing the X-Men or something.
He's just putting it up online. He can't publish it because he can't make money at it. If he makes money at it, Marvel can send him a cease and desist. So he just sticks it up online. Other people, on the other hand, take it and pirate it and do print files on it. And if you know somebody who's got the print on demand capabilities, there's at least 4 volumes of that stuff out there in print files if you look hard enough. Wow. But it's all amazingly wonderful work. The stories are tight. The artwork is beautiful.
What's he doing to earn then if he's doing that all the time?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. He's not doing anything I'm aware of out in the regular publishing market. He might be living off of commissions.
Yeah, maybe he gets really good kickbacks, but maybe he's on a maybe he did a good deal for the stuff that he did do.
Is he 70 now? He must be, mustn't he? 71?
Yeah, probably.
And he might have a good pension as well. You don't know, do you?
Oh no. You know he doesn't, unless he got he's Canadian too, though, isn't he?
He might have got a private one.
And he might have had a private, 401k or something.
That's what I'm saying. Not
enough to retire and do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
that's why he does that.
Yeah. And if he's got his artwork and he's selling that, well,
yeah.
And the thing is, if you were to look at that work that he's got up online, it's the best stuff he's ever done. There are so many beautiful panels there, just gorgeous layouts. We should, on a Comics by Night, pull a few of them up. I'll see if I can't capture some of them and go over the layout and the composition on them because they are that good. Right. And a lot of people just haven't seen them.
Did he say he was just on Facebook with them?
Me? No,
it's on his website, I think.
It's on his website.
Right.
It's like burnart.com, something, Burn Works, something like that.
Right.
But if you snoop around, it's up there. And there's lots to read. I mean, you spend an afternoon reading that stuff. There's so much of it. He's got to have over like 600-700 pages of it.
Wow. No.
And again, why, you know, and it might be his personal choice, but if there's a reason why Marvel isn't printing it, as opposed to Byrne not letting them print it, Marvel is again, they're idiots. So, pure and simple. Because it's that pretty. I mean, there's a cartoon kayfabe video out where they take one of the bound or two of the bound books and look through them. It's just amazing.
I'll look at that.
It's like, we don't know where these came from. These kind of fell out of the sky, but we're going to look at them. Here we go. Yeah. We have no idea who gave these to us, so don't even ask, you know.
You just wonder where things are. I mean, obviously in people's archives, but you just, you know, I told you when I was doing Crikey, I did an article about a Spanish artist called Freo, and he drew the Avengers, the British Avengers, you know, with Emma Peel and that. And I've told you this story before. I was in touch with DC Thompson a lot and all that kind of stuff, and they were really great, letting me publish stuff. And they, I published an article about this artwork, and this artwork hadn't been seen since 1969. And you know, they, I said to them, why don't they publish it again? And it was, they can't, because somebody owns the artwork, somebody owns the logo, somebody owns the name and all that kind of palaver. And you'd think they'd just sit down and put it out so we could enjoy it and just split the money, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Why would they do that? They don't give a monkeys about the readers. It's all about money.
But this artwork apparently is in a box up in Dundee somewhere, you know, at the DC Thompson archive. And it's been sitting there for 40 years. It's just beautiful, full colour painted artwork, you know. And it's absolutely superb. And I just don't understand why they just don't get their heads together and say, look, let's just split this, you know, put it out.
Well, they probably think they're not going to earn any money out of it.
Maybe, or maybe they want a bit more than the other guy.
Yeah, most probably.
Or they're holding out. Yeah. Everybody's you got to do those negotiations. That always takes a while.
Yeah, but 40 years. That's
if well, I was going to say that's if they're willing to listen.
In fact, it's 50 years now, isn't it? 1969, 59.
Ooh.
Lots of links in the chat, folks. Go over there. FrogG in the house. Thank you, FrogG. Got to have you on to talk about your campaign. Life on Cora. Tickle the algorithm. Folks, smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Thanks, FrogG. Thanks again. Hail, 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 hail. Everybody's hailing. Hail panel from FrogG. Hope you're doing well.
Susie Rosemar. Is that...
It is.
Is that,
I sent a link. No. That's who you think it is. I sent him a link. We'll see how it goes.
Jeez.
So, I didn't send him the time you don't send him a link. He wants to come in. Send him a link. He doesn't show up. So obviously he's up this morning, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as his camera gets turned on. There it is. Obviously he's up this morning. Mr. Rosemont. Hey.
Just
there it is.
Just when you think
we're hearing feedback from your speaker.
Just when you think
we're hearing feedback from your speaker.
And for you,
just when you
multiple echoes, Scott. I had to mute you. Please shut off.
When you finally get him, you get 10 of him.
Yeah, when we get you, we get 10 of you.
It's like a Queen chorus.
Shut your sound off. Please shut off.
When you finally get him, you get 10 of him.
Yeah.
What do I?
We get 10 of you.
It's like a Queen chorus.
You're on a hard echo this morning, buddy.
So your headphones on.
You get 10 of him.
Yeah.
What do I?
We get 10 of you.
What do I do?
He's just come on to tell us he's not coming on.
That must be what it is.
You get 10 of him.
Yeah.
Oh. What do I do?
He's just come on to tell us he's not coming.
There's something in your sound system, Scott. Cut it down to just your microphone. Adjust your sound.
Put your headphones on.
He's got headphones in.
Is he?
I thought he did. No, that's his glasses. Put your headphones on.
Well, I don't have headphones.
Well, that's better.
Well, what are you doing different that we're getting an echo? Well, it seems to have straightened out now.
Oh, I don't.
Oh.
I don't have.
Oh no, there it is.
no, there it is.
There it is. Well, what are you doing different that we're getting an echo? Well, it seems to have straightened out now.
Oh, I don't.
Oh no, there it is. There it is. There it is.
What's
We'll have
that
it go
Queen
around
song,
again now.
Russ? What's that?
Oh,
what's that
wait,
Queen
wait.
Song?
I think I know what's going on.
Prophet song.
We're gonna all start singing "Row, row, row your boat" in a second.
Oh wait. I think I.
It'll be great.
Is
There,
that better?
it's gone now. Yeah, that is much better.
Scott
Good.
Rose were in quadraphonic.
I thought I was hearing voices in my head.
Well, welcome to my world because
Yeah.
well, I want you to know, Glenn,
Yeah.
I heard you last week,
Did you?
and and to that respect,
Oh, there you go.
Wait a minute. Let me blow that up. Okay, what are we looking at?
go ahead, Glenn.
It's to do with the Queen, I think.
No,
No.
No.
Oh. Tell us.
Scarlet Pimpernel.
Oh,
there you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I called you the
They
Scarlet
seek him
Pimpernel.
here,
Pimpernel.
they
Yeah.
Yeah.
seek him there. They seek that Scott Rosamond everywhere.
Henceforth, the red shirt.
Yeah.
And I want you to know,
Yeah.
as much as I appreciate the literary
Reference.
association, you must know I'm far closer to this.
Well,
The Scarlet Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel.
There you go.
Suffering fucktash.
Just suffering succotash.
Scott, since you're not here very often, introduce yourself.
Scott Rosamond, ever elusive, ever unpredictable. Pro artist in the comics biz since '88. Marvel, Disney, Archie, Warner Brothers, Valiant, Fleer, Cartoon Network, Archie, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
And I am also personally here today to say that I want a cut of some of this money that's being generated by my not being here through the bets and the wagers.
It's all fictional, Scott.
Well, if I don't start getting some of that money, I may not show up next week.
Okay.
see you in a month then.
As they say in the lotto, you can't win if you don't play.
That's true. That's true. That's ever
Got
so
to be
true.
in it to win it. Mm.
Though when it comes to the lotto, I say you can't lose if you don't play either. So
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. So what are you contemptuous bastards doing without me? I can't believe it.
We just
I
keep
listen.
wondering, we just
we're
keep
stunned
wondering
to
where
see
you
you.
are.
That's what it is.
Half the shows we talk about you, and then the other half we think about you.
Oh. Well, oh man, would I love to be a fly in the wall there.
No, you don't want to be.
Well, I'd be right at home if I was, so I'm not concerned about it. But
We're
I
archived
did.
over at the Indie Comics Network. If ever you want to, go back and catch all those references.
I did actually. I listened to one of the I think it was a Friday morning show. You guys had quite a crew on there.
Friday morning,
Friday
yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Comics by night.
Oh my God, that was huge.
You
And
saw
just
our
thinking-
opening, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I just got on here. I just was getting my connection up.
All right, give me a second. I'll run our opening for here we are. Our Comics by Night opening.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
That's everything you need to know about that show. Friday
Oh
morning,
my God,
5
That's-
a.m.
that's perfect. That Kentucky Fried Movie reference with the Enter the Dragon spoof they did. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it was just so hilarious.
We
Oh
look
my
at-
God.
We look at the morning show as a attempt to teach. It's a teaching moment.
Oh, well, I hope people pick up on it because that's some lessons right there.
So what are you drawing, Scott? What are you up to?
Well, I tell you, I'd show you, but frankly,
I'd
I don't
have to
have the
kill you.
energy.
Are you under NDAs like Russ is? Russ couldn't talk about his project for months.
Oh no, it's not that. It's just that I don't have the energy to track you guys down, kill you, and hide the bodies all at the same time. So I really wish I could show you. But
I always find that restrictive.
isn't it though?
Yeah,
I mean, who needs to do that twice in one lifetime?
I know.
don't.
I know. It's just so tiresome.
I had an ex-wife once. No, just kidding. She's still very much alive.
Actually, I'll give you a quick. I don't know if I showed you guys this or not before, but I got a zombie.
Zombies.
Just in time for Halloween, huh?
Oh yeah. It's part of a cover to a book I'm doing the cover for.
Cool.
So
prose or graphic novel?
What's that?
Is it a prose book or a graphic novel?
No, it's for a gaming system.
Cool.
The guy that runs a gaming system over here in I think he's over in Grand Rapids. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be all full color. It's going to be as I describe it, gory-ific. Gory-ific.
Cool. Yeah.
But as I was listening to that cast, to that Zimcast the other day, the Friday morning, you guys start talking about
Comics by Night. But go ahead.
Comics by Night. I thought that was a really cool conversation you guys had going there about writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was great because I got all kinds of thoughts and views on that. I wanted to get on and share with you guys.
Well, the episode before that, we were talking about books to help you draw.
Oh, okay.
How to draw comics the Marvel way and the Hogarth anatomy books, that kind of stuff. And the last episode, we wanted to talk about books to help you write.
Ah, gotcha.
Outside of the Denny O'Neil DC writing book, that's really non-existent anymore. You can't find it anywhere. It's been out of print for years.
Oh, Denny wrote something?
DC did a whole series of how-to books back in, I think, the late 90s, early 2000s. And then they very quickly went out of print.
Oh, yeah. Dick Giordano did one of them on inking.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Yeah.
And all of those books were just incredibly informative. And then you can't find them anywhere.
Oh, that's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah.
So the thoughts I want to share with you guys.
Yeah.
Cannot remember one of them.
There you go.
So,
welcome to old age.
Shit out of luck. Sorry.
All right. Well, you'll probably think of them in the middle of the night tonight. So.
Oh yeah. When I'm barely sleeping and go. So
gonna do a couple of Comics by Night episodes that we're going to pre-record, so you don't have to get up so early, Scott.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Sometimes you need to come on and talk about stuff. Mitch Rogers keeps trying to come on. He pops in, pops out. It's funny in the green room. He must be having trouble with his equipment this morning.
Well, that's true. Who else was going to show up today that we didn't?
I sent out a bunch of. I always send out a bunch of links. I didn't send any to you because you hadn't answered the last 5 or 6 or 10 or dozen or so that I sent you. So
that's right. Damn it!
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
That's right. What's wrong with you? I really can't get up at 5 in the morning. Yeah, things to do, people to see.
That's very, very true.
Graves to dig. Yeah.
No, what was that?
Graves to dig.
Graves to dig.
Bodies to bury.
Bodies to bury.
We see these. We watch these mysteries, like these Dateline shows where the mysteries and the murders and all this.
You watch them.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, Susie watches them, and I watch them
okay.
by proxy.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch the Scarlet Pumpernickel.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I see these shows, and I keep thinking, boy, they plan these murders, and they go through all this, all this planning, and I keep thinking, who's got the energy? Oh my God. Dragging bodies around and throwing them in trunks and going back and hiding the evidence. Oh Christ almighty. I can't imagine.
It really turns out to be a how-to not to do.
Oh, God,
Because
yes.
most all of them get caught. Yeah.
Oh, I see what these people do, and my back just gets sore thinking about it. Oh, God, can you imagine? Oh,
It's hard enough getting the shopping out the back of the car, let alone getting the body out to bury it.
There you go.
I know. I mean, my left lateral pulls whenever I just lift a gallon of milk.
This is exactly the way I warned everybody this conversation was going to go. We start out talking about comics, soon we're talking about murder
Lifting
shows.
gallons of milk.
Burying bodies.
Burying bodies. Speaking of burying bodies, here's Mitch Rogers.
Hello,
How are you,
Mitch.
buddy?
Hey,
Introduce
going,
yourself,
everyone?
Mitch. Well, Scott Roseman's actually here. That's Scott Rosema. You ever meet Scott Rosema?
oh,
I've met him, but
That's
Seems to
Mitch.
be-
Mitch, that's Scott. Yeah.
Mitch and I have a past. Trust me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm
Very
actually
cool.
surprised that I'm later and he actually showed up.
There you go.
Hi,
Just
I'm
when
Mitch.
you think.
Just
Just when you think. By God.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the podcasting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mitch Rogers. I'm a 14-year veteran of the indie comics world, creator of the Boger and Flesh and Blood comic book series yeah.
See, flesh
Go
and
ahead.
blood, burying bodies. There we are.
Yeah.
Topical.
And just in case you didn't see it, Mitch, this has now become, thanks to Glenn's suggestion, I am now
Oh, cool.
the
Scarlet. Go ahead.
Scarlet Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel. Oh, so you know the reference then. I'm
Yeah,
glad to see that.
That was Daffy Duck, wasn't it?
Oh
Yes, it
my
was.
God. Great Warner Brothers cartoon. Oh my God.
Second generation Daffy Duck.
Oh, it was awesome.
Back when they were still good.
Oh, yes. One of the classic Chuck Jones episodes, I believe.
He's my favorite of the Looney Tunes directors.
Oh, God.
Chuck Jones.
Literally a genius in the animation form. I mean, just unbelievably clever.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the Robert
funny.
Bob Clampett era. Back when Daffy Duck was truly Daffy and Tweety was, all of the characters characterizations were way over exaggerated back in those days. They were so much fun to watch.
One of Daffy's classic. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
He's bouncing.
That era, yeah.
It was awesome.
Where Tweety would look at the screen after he did something wrong. Ooh, I done a bad thing.
Exactly. It's awesome. Oh no, Glenn, as I was tuning in, you were talking about some artwork that's been hidden away for 40 some odd years, 50 years. What was that? Can you go over that again?
Yeah, about over 10 years ago, I used to publish a magazine called Crikey, and it was about British comics. And I was in touch with DC Thompson, who were a big publisher of the Beano and things like that. Don't know whether you've seen those, sort of humorous comic books over here in England. And I was in touch with them, and Dennis the Menace and all that kind of stuff. And they sent me some artwork by a guy called Freo, a Spanish artist. And it was the Avengers, but it was the British Avengers, the one with Emma Peel and Mr. Steeding and all that.
Oh, yeah.
A TV show.
Great show.
And they sent me this artwork that it hadn't been seen since 1969 when it was published in a girls' magazine, a girls' comic. And so I did an article about this Spanish artist and put this artwork in. And I asked them if, I told them they should publish this stuff because I'd never seen it. And all the people would like to see it. And they said, well, they couldn't because they of the copyright thing, because they own the artwork, the physical artwork. Somebody, I think it's Carlton TV, own the logo for the Avengers, and somebody else owns the Avengers. So they couldn't agree. They can't. These people, for whatever reason, I don't know, they haven't come together to agree to publish this stuff. So this stuff is been in a box now for 50 years, 40 years at the time, 50 years now, just sitting there waiting to be thrown away, And I understand the politics of it and all that kind of thing, and somebody will want more than somebody else, but I just wish people could just agree and just so we can see it, because it's absolutely wonderful artwork.
Oh, I bet it
Absolutely
is.
brilliant. It's just wonderful.
Just too many hands in the copyright pot, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
From what I understand, that's what's keeping the 2000 ADs from being archived as well, because everybody had a share of the rights until I think the 90s, early 90s or mid 90s.
Oh, and so
when
much of that
IPC
was,
just came in and said, we're going to own everything.
oh, and so much of that 2000 AD was just superb. I mean,
Oh,
just
unbelievable.
wonderful
Yeah.
stuff.
Incredible stuff. Yeah. You know, Brian Bolland and Cam Kennedy and all these people.
That
Ron
so many people would appreciate that they haven't seen
Yeah.
it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, early Alan Davis. And,
Yeah.
oh,
Alan Moore as well.
Alan Moore. Yeah.
Just
All
Wow.
that kind of stuff.
Level of the characters is worth the price of admission alone.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! I remember when I first started seeing copies of it at conventions. People would have it in their back issue boxes or whatever, and I just was just a
Well,
god.
it turned comics on its head, didn't it, Russ? In England, 2000 AD.
did.
It really.
Yeah.
It's Pat Mills. Pat Mills is a top writer. You've probably heard of him. He's known as the. I think he's known as the godfather of comics over here. The sort of Stan Lee of comics over here.
Yeah.
And he really turned comics on its head. And it's very political. It's very funny.
It's
Really dark.
subversive.
Very
Subversive.
subversive. And
the
he knew
word.
it was subversive at the
It's
time. Yeah.
Not so
Yeah.
much political,
Did
but
a really
subversive.
good work.
It was.
Yeah.
It really got under people's skin,
Yeah.
and 11-year-olds were reading it. It was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, it was the dichotomy of loving Judge Dredd, even though he was quite obviously a fascist.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
Yeah.
But the fascist was going around getting the bad guys who you hated even more. I mean, it was just subversive. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah! I remember one of my favorite Judge Dreads was where he was handling a riot, and in order to finally end it, he used like this suppressive foam that would harden when you blew it on people. And at the end of the story, you know, I think Judge Hershey was saying to him, "So what are we gonna do next time?" And he says, "Next time we start with the foam." Not even just completely oppressive. And
I remember a great story. I've got it in reprint somewhere where everybody turned into an ape, which was really funny.
oh no, kidding.
It's always funny.
Yeah, because they basically there was some kind of genetic modifier and it had de-evolved everybody.
Oh,
And that was hilarious. And I think that was a Mike Mahone illustrated, and he obviously did the apes superbly.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
I've just found that artwork. This is the edition that the Preo artwork was in. Crikey.
Hang on, I'm gonna blow that up. There we go.
I've got some copies of these if anybody wants them. But this is the Avengers artist, Freo Abergon.
Oh, look at that work.
Oh man,
Wow.
Look at
that
that.
is
Yeah,
stunning.
the Patrick McNee likeness is very spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, isn't
Amazing.
And he's, I don't think he's still alive now. Oh, he's alive at the moment.
That's right up there with Bellamy and the Thunderbird artists.
Yeah,
Just
look
at that on the
body.
left.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is just beautiful. Yeah.
And all this stuff, all these pages. This is what they sent me. I used all that they sent me, because it's so wonderful.
Oh jeez, Pete. Oh
Man.
God. That's as good as anything Boland's ever done, or
Oh yeah. That's as good as
Oh.
it gets right there.
All hand painted,
Hmm.
beautiful
Just-
work.
Oh,
Yeah.
And like I said, it's in a box in Dundee now, just waiting for someone to not do anything with it.
You that panel where he's dancing with her on the edge of the pier. Is it on the edge of a pier?
That's what
Yeah.
it looks like. Yeah.
Did I get that quickly? Oh, it's on a boat or I mean,
He's on a boat.
look at
She's
that
tied
panel.
up. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, I can see that. Look at that panel and how much movement and
Yeah.
oh,
dynamism is in that one panel.
That's like
Yeah.
a teaching. That's like a
Yeah.
teaching moment in 5 different directions.
Exactly.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
just crazy.
And
Just
you
beautiful.
could just imagine the same panel from some sources would just be so dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Composition,
It's
light and
panel.
shadow, just
Yeah.
just beautiful stuff.
I was going to
Posturing.
say is 3 levels of front and back lighting. It's amazing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Like that one.
Yeah, his face.
Yeah.
Look at his face. It's great.
That is so Patrick McNee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he would play that character, is so not quite tongue in cheek, but not quite super serious. I mean, just awesome. Man,
Is that a picture of the artist there down
Yes.
below? Photograph? Yeah. Good on him.
Wow.
Wow.
He really put his back
He was
into this one.
He was
Yeah.
a terribly British Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
That's what he was. That's what he
That's a great
was.
way of putting it. That's awesome.
He wasn't as much of a hound dog, though, was he? Much of a
No,
player?
no. So I'm saying he was a terribly British version of Captain
Oh,
Kirk.
okay.
Yeah,
He was
very
This is
cool.
what DC Thompson published. That's our Dennis the Menace. I know you have your Dennis the Menace.
well, that's the real Dennis the
Oh,
Menace.
That's the
That's
real
awesome.
Dennis the Menace, yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
You got Captain Hurricane,
Oh,
You know.
really?
Lord Snooty,
Oh, wow.
and I think
Lord
what's that? Who's that?
Snooty. Lord Snooty.
Billy Whiz. Billy
Billy
Whiz, a
Whiz.
little lad who used to run at 100 miles an hour everywhere, causing havoc. Absolutely
Wow.
fantastic.
When did Billy Whiz start up? Before, back in the 40s and 50s?
Oh,
or-
yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, back in the 50s, maybe. Yeah, a long time
Yes.
ago.
Fawcett printed an issue of pulp stories called Captain Billy's Whiz Bang.
Right.
That's what
Wow.
Whiz Comics came out of.
As you do.
I imagine that stuff must hold quite a fondness for you two over there in Britain.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I sort of left
Everybody.
it. It did, yeah. I sort of left it behind though when TV21 came along and did the Jerry Anderson marionette shows, and then I got into Marvel and all that kind of stuff.
I'm,
This
I'm-
is a series by Pat Mills called Charlie's War about the First World War.
That is amazing.
Oh.
Just
wasn't that
absolutely
in
incredible.
2000 AD?
Yeah.
No, that was that in. No, I don't.
Oh,
think
no,
that
no,
was in
no, it was in
2000. I think it was in
Battle,
Battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in Battle. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
okay.
Battle Picture Weekly. Yeah,
Titan did collect that though, because I have the volume of it.
and
Yeah.
the artwork by
It's just
Joe
beautiful.
Colloon is absolutely outstanding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
look at
yeah,
that.
Oh,
the whole thing is. The
See,
whole
I
script
remember
was
those.
amazing.
I remember those half-size battle comics that you used to be able to get, almost like the same size
wow.
as the Ladybird books.
Yeah,
Not sure about
Yeah.
that format.
Jeez,
Were they rectangular, longer than they
Oh,
were?
no, they were.
tall?
They were like a comic book, but just smaller.
Okay,
And that was a very British size.
kind of like
They were like
digest size?
Reader's Digest.
Yeah,
Yeah, same size as
Digest
Reader's
size.
Digest. Yeah, so it was like it looked almost like the size of a paperback novel. But
Is
it
that
had
what's
comic-
called the A5 size?
I don't know. I don't know. It was A5. I don't think
No.
it was as small as that because that's half A4, and so
Yeah.
it was a bit bigger than that. But
Oh, okay.
still, yeah, it was small. I remember Combat, but I'm slightly younger than Glenn, so my history doesn't go quite as far back as far as which comics I picked up. So I didn't know TV21. I wasn't. I sort of got the reissue of the Eagle comic.
wow.
I've got a pocket book. Titan
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, it might be that kind of
That's
size.
about
Oh,
digest
okay, yeah.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little taller than an Archie digest. About the
Bizarrely-
same size as what we would call an ash can. If you fold it out,
Bizarrely,
that's probably pretty close to 8.5 by 11.
that image is
Okay.
what's on the back of my Kang War book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's printed in black and white on great
Look at that.
newsprint. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
half
You
of the
could-
time too light. You had to look at it really close. There's a opens, of course, with a Kirby.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Jigsaw.
Amazing stuff.
You
See,
couldn't
that
have a. Sorry, go ahead.
That would be the advantage of just
Yes.
like having a lot of money and not having to worry, and then you just go off and print your own comics.
Yeah.
Draw it.
15p.
Just
Yeah.
draw and draw and draw and draw.
See,
Um,
you couldn't have British comics without Dan Dare.
No.
Oh no, no.
It's like I say, because Dan Dare was in 2000 AD for a while, wasn't he?
Yes.
He started off in Eagle in the late.
He started off in
Yes.
the Eagle, and they did reprint. They were doing a new Eagle comic back when I was buying comics as a kid,
Uh-huh.
When I was
and then
was-
they did Star Lord, and that mixed
Yeah.
up with 2000 AD. And
Yeah.
they did bring Dan Dare back for a while in 2000 AD.
Yeah.
But
I want
that,
to
that
say,
would have been when I was started to buy, so I missed out on the TV21 stuff,
yeah.
and I wasn't really a Beano or a Dandy kind of reader. I just went straight to Marvel and 2000 AD, really.
Yeah,
was
And-
Dan
and,
Dare
and DC. So
was Dan Dare illustrated by what's
Dave Gibbons did it in 2000 AD, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the artist that started out doing him was Hampton. I think
yeah.
that's his last name.
Frank Hampson. Yeah,
Hampson.
it was
Okay.
his creation.
Bellamy did a few of those too, didn't he?
Bellamy took over in about 1959 when Frank Hampton quit because of the money side of it and ownership and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've told you before about a story about a guy I know who deals in original artwork, and he got a call. IPC, who publish just about
2000.
everything then. Everything then. I think they've gone in. I don't think they're around anymore. They had an archive of artwork, and they were just going to. They had 2 skips. I don't know what the American word is. That you dump your stuff in on the drive. Yeah,
probably,
a dumpster.
Dumpsters, yeah.
They had 2 of those outside on the street, and they were throwing artwork in it.
Oh,
And my friend got a call from somebody who worked there, and they went down, and he said to the guy, "How much do you want for this artwork?" And he said, "You can have it." So he got piles, and I'm telling you, piles and piles and piles of artwork. But when he went down into the basement where the artwork archive was, the door was jammed open with a piece of card. And when he was moving through the door, he kicked the card, and it came out, and it sort of opened out, and it was an original Frank Hampton Dan Dare page, 1956. Somebody folded it into a block,
jammed it under the door.
Well, this is the artwork I fell in love with in 2000 AD. This is by a guy called Mike Noble. This is Captain Scarlet, one of Jerry Anderson's things.
Oh yeah.
Did he do the title cards for the show?
Yes, at the end.
No, that was Ron Embleton.
Oh,
okay.
But that Thunderbird 3 there is Frank Bellamy, and I just mixed it with the Mike Loeb. It's 2 different drawings.
Wow.
But that's Captain Scarlet falling off. Look at that. It's fabulous, isn't it?
It is
unbelievable.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, the Ron Embleton artwork. You've probably seen a lot of Ron Embleton's work because he does a lot of historical figures and things like that. But he was commissioned by, I think it was Dennis Spooner, I think, who was the editor of 2000 AD, to do the end cards of Captain Scarlet. You'll have seen those where he's under the rocks and the sharks and all sorts of things going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they were recent when it wasn't Dennis Spooner, Alan Fennell. And he had them when he died about 10 years ago. His family were sorting out his stuff, and they found the artwork, and it was big artwork of what Ron Embleton had done for those end cards and they sold them all. I don't know, for £10,000 each or whatever. But they were there in one of the drawers in his office. This fantastic artwork. So,
oh man,
just beautiful stuff, wonderful stuff.
You know, I was involved in a potential pitch to do a Captain Scarlet comic.
Wow.
A friend of mine used to work for Heritage Auction here in America, and he had this pitch he wanted to put together, and I did well, if I can find it around here somewhere, I'll show it to you at some point. But I did this poster of the Captain Scarlet series, a montage poster of the different captains and I did thumbnails for like 15 pages of it. And the thing is, he bought me. Yeah. Oh God, that stuff awesome.
That's it, Ron Embleton. Yeah.
Yeah. He bought me a full DVD set of the show.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go through all these episodes.
I got that. Yeah.
You'll get this then, Scott. This is in my comic, my creation, my little homage to Captain Scarlet. When we see the end of this. Look at that artwork. Look beautiful, isn't it?
Just
phenomenal.
Tremendous. I always thought that was just so cool to see that in conjunction with the credits of the show. Just isn't that awesome? You know that classic holding the spiked walls in place. Oh my God!
I can hear the music now. No.
Yeah.
We can't on purpose because we'll get copyright struck.
Yeah.
But in our heads, we can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes. So cool. And the thing with this, Jerry Anderson did such a tremendous job with all the marionation, I think it was called.
Yeah,
super marionation.
Phenomenal. Right there.
Yeah.
Super marionation.
Wow. Just amazing.
So this is my homage in my character. You'll get that, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Mysterio.
Yes.
Which is great because not many Americans know what it is.
Well, the thing is, I'm such a huge fan of all this international stuff that the that whole Philippine school of artists, Nestor Redondo and
Oh yeah,
Alcala and
yeah, wonderful
Frank
stuff.
Keys and all that. Just awesome. And now let me strain some memories here. I remember seeing some excerpts from a strip done over there in Britain. It was the Roman legions, and
you're talking one of Glenn's favorite properties there.
Yeah. Who is the artist on? Who's the writer and artist on that?
That's the Trigon Empire.
The Rise and Fall of the Trigon Empire. The artist is Don Lawrence.
Don Lawrence.
I can't remember the name of the writer, but this beautiful artwork. I'll get some for you. Just in a second. I've got it in the book.
Didn't Lawrence also do some the Modesty Blaze strip for a bit? Am I wrong on that?
Oh,
the name is really familiar.
No, that was Romero. In fact, I've got that here. I interviewed him, Romero, for Crikey. Just a minute. Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh yes. Oh,
that's Modesty Blaze there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that Don? Is that?
Let me just find. I'll get you Don Lawrence.
No, it's not Don Lawrence. It'll take a second, but
wow.
Back to Judge Dred. Anybody who's listening that wants to read some great Judge Dred stories, they have the case books available over on Amazon.
Oh wow!
And here in the States, I know there's probably 25 of them. They're the same size as the old, or not. They're a little bit different in size, but the same thickness as those old Showcase Presents and those Essentials that we were talking about earlier.
I have a full set of Judge Dred Titan reprints from the early 90s.
Wow. That's the Titan reprints, yeah.
Those
are also beautiful. Yeah.
That's Brian Bolland, the colorist as well.
Yeah,
who else could it be?
Yeah.
There's Don Lawrence.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And it's all hand painted, and I'm always boring these guys here, but I like to hand paint rather than the computer.
Oh sure.
Because this stuff this is what shaped my artwork, I think. This kind of coloring and look at that.
Just tremendous.
It's luscious, isn't it?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That's a word to describe.
I mean, look at those horses there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The action too, just
he is one of the best.
Amazing. And who is the artist again?
Don Lawrence.
Don Lawrence. Okay. I knew it was Don something. I couldn't quite place it. Oh,
very Kirk Douglas type of ruggedly handsome type of thing.
Oh sure.
Look at that explosion there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What would you say the medium was that they painted those in, Glenn?
I think he used acrylic.
Well, really acrylics.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
masterful.
Wonderful.
And he had to be quick too.
What he used to do, it was quite amazing. When he got his script, he'd have 3 pages to do to be published every week. He used to
3 pages.
He'd have full color artwork, 3 pages, and I don't know whether he was doing that per week, but it was published every week, so he had to be quick. But what he would do, he would get his script and he would read through it, and he'd count how many panels. So let's say they'd given him 27 panels to do the story in, full script, and he used to put the panels on the page, just the panels, just draw them in roughly on the page, just the panel squares, and then he would write down next to the artwork, next to the panel, how long it was going to take him to draw it. So, I imagine, I don't know, but let's say those 3 panels there, he would write down, the guy with the horse, he'd probably write down, let's say, an hour for that one, then 45 minutes for the next one, and then 30 minutes for that one. And that's what he used to do. And I think it was, I never spoke to him, which is a shame, but I guess that might have been a bit of a challenge he put to himself to the discipline of it, to see whether he could beat his time. I don't know. That's the impression I get. But he used to work out his day and how long he would spend on a panel.
Damn, that's impressive.
With Dan, not Dan Day.
I don't understand.
Oh, you said he would work out with who? Or
I don't understand what you mean.
No,
he used to get his script and he'd put the time next to the panel.
Right.
How long it was going to take him to draw it.
Right.
That was his personal challenge, his personal clock.
Yeah.
His personal deadline.
Oh, per day, or
per panel.
per panel. Oh, I
Per
see.
panel.
I
It's
see.
like 1.5 hours. That's all he'd devote to that panel.
Yeah.
Done.
That's unbelievable.
Move
That's
along.
amazing.
It's just wonderful. And he did. I think he did about. How many issues did he do, Russ? I think he did about.
I don't know. I'm not as
think-
au fait with that stuff as you are.
I think he did about 1,000 pages of it or something.
Good Lord.
So 3 pages a week, 3 pages an episode.
Mm.
I mean, it's just fantastic stuff. I'd love to see the originals of these. Look at that.
Jeez, oh Pete's.
Yeah.
Was it done on the artboard itself where the inks are, or was it like over here where they make like an acetate overlay and
It was
with the light box go
it
over?
was all done on the artboard. So if you've got the
wow.
only thing that spoils it for me is the lettering. The lettering was typeset, and it was stuck on.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen
It's like a Richard Corbin.
Probably with
Yeah.
rubber cement. Yeah.
it's horrible because I've seen not the actual originals, but I've seen the photographs of the originals, and the lettering bubble has fallen off. So you've got this horrible squidgy stuff that's spoiling the sky that he painted.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's
course,
just wonderful. I mean, look at those.
God.
That's
course, when
the
you-
cover.
when you-
That's the cover I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ship.
Well,
and
I mean, look at that.
Wait, wait.
How rubbish is that drawing?
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause that's not a Don Lawrence. They should have just done it with those guys.
yeah. That face to the guy with the widow's peak at the very end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh God, look at that the center lighting on that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The pure rage in his face.
But
Oh.
that guy with the green on the left there, that's obviously Kirk Douglas, isn't it?
Oh
From,
sure.
from
yeah.
the Vikings,
That
And
classic
he
strong
draws
jaw.
beautiful women as well.
Mhm.
Oh,
Fabulous artwork.
Yes, it
of course,
is.
when you think about how back at that point they had no overnight delivery and all that. So
No.
he literally probably didn't have the time to do the hand lettering.
Yeah, that's right.
So they from a production standpoint, they probably had no choice but to do paste
Well,
on.
on TV21, when Frank Bellamy was doing Thunderbirds, he did the lettering on it, and he's a really good lettering artist as well, But if you look at the spreads, I don't know whether Andy can get any up of Frank Bellamy spreads from Thunderbirds.
Give me just a second.
He would always, I mean, we do this, don't we? I noticed that every week was 17 panels, and he would just do the center spread would be full color, and there'd be 17 panels. And the first panel, when you see the original artwork, sometimes the logo is not on, so there's a blank panel. That said Captain Scarlet or Thunderbirds or something.
Sure.
When you see this, if Randy can find it, the Frank Bellamy artwork, it's absolutely stunning.
Oh God.
It's absolutely beautiful. In fact, I've got some, so talk among yourselves while I go and find it.
Oh, it just, I mean, and who was it that did Dan Dare? Was the
I should have just brought him up on Bing, or something. I've got
Dan Dare was Frank Hampson.
collections.
Frank Hampson?
Frank Hampson.
Yeah.
I can show you some of those too. I know right where those books are. But here's this might be Dare. There might be Bellamy.
These are only in black and white. This was published in black and white, so it's a shame because all these things are in color.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But they are fantastic. But he drew Garth. I mean, look at that Thunderbird 2 there. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Just
Unbelievable stuff. Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He drew Garth as well. Have you seen Garth?
Every issue comes with a schematic breakdown of the
Those
of
are
one
done
of the
by
one of the Thunderbirds.
I can't remember the guy's name now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I was fortunate enough a few years ago to see some Frank Bellamy and Ron Embleton originals, and they're just those colors, those pelican inks are just as beautiful as they were in
Just as sharp.
1965 when they were drawn. Absolutely wonderful.
unbelievable.
You know that those pelican watercolors dyes just
Dyes,
incredible. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very
Yeah,
expensive.
The first time I saw some panels from the Trigon Empire, the Roman stuff, I was literally dumbfounded. I would see that, and I thought, where the hell has this stuff been? Why isn't this all over the States here in America? And I realized it was purely British audience orientated. It was stuff they
what they did. This is what ruins things for me. What they did because they wanted, for some reason, they wanted. There you go, Thunderbirds.
Oh.
Frank Bellamy.
Unbelievable.
Look at that explosion.
Yeah.
Oh God. That's so awesome.
Just glorious stuff.
For some reason, this Trigon Empire, they published it at this silly size, so they had to redo the pages. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the panels missing.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Jesus. Why not just do the book, the shape of the page? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Well, they do it all the way through. Like there, there's a gap. There's gaps between the panels because they don't fit.
A lot of times, it's what is easiest to come off of the press too.
Of course, yeah, but I'm talking as somebody who wants to see it done properly. I understand that, yeah. But it's just a shame.
See, nowadays there's no reason you can't do it in its original format because the printing these days is not restricted by any particular size or
no.
It's oh, look at that! Oh man!
Yeah. Yep. But the thing about the Trigon Empire is the fact that it's like you say, it looks like Roman times, but they've got jet aircraft and howitzers and machine guns and things like that. So it's really great. The technology is there, but the dress sense is all Roman legions and stuff.
That's what I remember seeing. I remember one particular panel where, God, there's this big arm holding a sword, and oh God, I remember thinking, God, this is as good as Neil Adams. This is as good as Jim Stranko. This is as good as all these guys.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't imagine why we didn't see more of it over here. I wanted it so badly.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say that I think the British artists, those Bellamy, Noble, Embleton, and Lawrence might have been even better than Neil Adams and those people because they did all the work in colour. Not better artists, not better artists or anything like that, but better end of product.
Illustrators.
You
get no argument from me on that. That's just because that stuff is just.
Which isn't to say that I don't think Neil Adams isn't wonderful. He's brilliant.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
because he does color work as well, doesn't he? Sometimes.
Oh, he did, yeah. But just the pure output that they would make, on those British comics were just amazing.
Those spreads that Randy was showing you of Frank Bellamy's Thunderbirds used to take him 2 days from a blank piece of board to those full color 17 panels usually on the spread, taking 2 days from beginning to end.
Jesus Christ.
And I'd love to see some Frank Bellamy pencils because he does the full artwork, obviously, but it used to take him 2 days.
Oh, unbelievable.
Just wonderful. Yeah, and of course, that wasn't the only thing he was doing because if it took him 2 days, he's got 3 days of his working week to go. And he used to draw First World War stuff, didn't he, in those volumes? And he used to draw. He wanted to move to Africa and be a wildlife artist. That's why all these rhinos and stuff he always puts in are so beautifully rendered because he was into all that kind of thing. And he'd have lions in them, and you think, wow, it's like a photograph of a lion, just beautiful stuff. Yeah. And he'd put them into. Well, the writer used to put them into Thunderbirds so he could draw them. And he'd always draw things like Maasai warriors and all those guys, with the awesome spears and all that. And it's just wonderful, beautiful stuff. And the sad thing about Frank Bellamy is that he died when he was 59. Mm-hmm. He was the same age as Kirby. He died in 1976. He was 59 when he died.
Oh, way too young.
And his Garth stuff is absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
that's in black and white for the Daily Mirror.
Yeah, just beautiful work.
Oh,
I've got a thin book like the old Garfield books, collection of Garth strips that are just amazing.
Oh,
wonderful,
unbelievable.
But just about all of he didn't work on Modesty Blaze, but Modesty Blaze is just as pretty.
That was.
as
Peter
far as
O'Donnell.
black and white works.
Yeah. Wasn't that Peter O'Donnell who did Modesty Blaze?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say, I remember one of the great sequences of Modesty Blaze was where, the big tough guy that worked with Modesty, I forget his name, but the one sequence where he's trying to either free Modesty Blaze or enact what he thinks is revenge for her death, which didn't really happen, but he drove this huge truck into this building and it would crash through 4 or 5 floors of the building. and this whole thing was illustrated so beautifully. I guess it was just this. I don't think I've ever seen it in its entirety, but I remember reading about how just incredibly what a visual impact it had.
Yeah.
This was on, either a daily strip or the Sunday strip or something.
Had to have been a daily. I don't think Modesty was ever a Sunday strip.
No, it was the first artist was Jim Holdaway, and he died. He died in 1970. I think he was only about 40. And
again, that's the Titan reprint book right there.
Yeah. And then inside is the Bellum. I'll try and get a better.
I think Titan did two Modesty Blaze reprints, and then the Titan came back a few years later and reprinted the entire run.
Yeah. This is Frank Bellamy, black and white.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's Garth. So that's got to be a Titan reprint book too. Then
it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Oh,
but it's just fantastic stuff. I mean, look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
how to spot your blacks all across the drawing. Look at that.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
And these lines here. These lines here.
Yeah.
Just stopping you going off the page. Brilliant stuff. And that collar taking you around to the girl and back, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It's great. Frank Bellamy is just one of the best.
Real
just incredible. Yep.
Real man. Now, what would you guys say between you, Glenn and Russ? You guys, what would you say would be? Who would you, if you could, rank probably one of the top creators in British comics?
Creators, I would say it's got to be Pat Mills.
Yeah, Pat Mills.
Oh, and then
if it's just art, I think it's got to be Brian Bolland or perhaps Dave Gibbons.
Yeah, my favorite amongst the artists would be Cam Kennedy.
Yeah,
I like his sort of scratchy style. But he worked for DC on Light and Darkness War. I think it was DC. It might have been Epic. He worked on Light and Darkness War. He produced full color painting because he's actually a painter, an illustrator. Cam Kennedy. The comic it just makes you wonder whether these people go to sleep or not, because they do this fantastic work, and it's not really what they do. Frank Bellamy was doing other things other than Thunderbirds, but they were just. I think it's like we said on the Friday morning about getting. I think they get their first line that goes down is the right one. They don't have to keep redrawing, and they just do it. They're absolutely superb. But Russ said, Brian Bolland. I mean, Brian Bolland. Say.
Too good.
I have never ever seen a bad Brian Bolland drawing.
No,
it's just
you won't. Everything he does,
Brian would probably argue with you on that somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure
he's probably got stuff that you really want me to sign that?
And yet that's the stuff that we go.
You just imagine that, yeah.
Well, he redid a lot of panels from The Killing Joke when they re-released it.
Did he really?
Did he?
Yeah, because he didn't like a lot of the art he did on it, because apparently he had to rush through it all, which I couldn't tell was rushed. But okay,
wish I could rush it that badly. Yeah.
God. Jesus. I remember when I first saw the cover to The Killing Joke with the Joker holding the camera up. I know that. And I remember thinking, Jesus, look at he's writing the little letters on the curve.
Yeah. Well, he's got his name. He's got his name on the lens, hasn't it? It says Bolland. I think.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like it's the camera make. It's really clever. Yeah,
just amazing.
Work. Yeah.
Wonder what he thinks of his Camelot 3000 material.
Oh, that was great.
Some of that stands out really well and is very iconic, and some other stuff. It was some of the earliest stuff he did for American comics, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wasn't it DC too?
Oh yeah, it was DC. Oh. Mike W. Barr wrote that book. So.
Oh yeah, I recall. I think it was for a Batman annual or anniversary issue where Bolland did this splash page of the Batman in this tree hovering over where Green Arrow and Black Canary are walking below him. And it's when I first saw it, I thought, oh, geez, that's a Neil Adams. But then I looked closer and I thought, oh, my God, it's even better than Adams. Look at that. Because he's just the texture of the branches and the folds of the cape. And oh, my God. It just
Yeah.
is stunning. It's still burned in my brain. I can remember it
There's
so clearly.
a story he did for Batman Black and White, the first volume they did back in, I think, the 90s. That was really well done. It's about a kid that daydreams about killing Batman, but he redid this famous cover where Batman and Robin are chasing the Penguin across a giant typewriter, and yet it's the exact same composition, exact same lighting, but with Brian Boland, it was just amazing.
Oh, unbelievable.
It's a homage piece to probably Dick Sprang.
I think it was Dick Sprang.
You know,
I remember when 2001 came out, and Bolland and Ron Smith and Cam Kennedy and McMahon or whatever he's, I can't remember to say his name. All the different, just about every story, it would be a different artist.
Yes. Different
Totally
style, different look.
Yeah. And you think nobody can beat Ron Smith on Judge Dredd. And then you pick up Brian Bolland, and then you pick up Cam Kennedy, and you think, when is this? How many of these people have they got?
Yeah.
Because there must have been about 10 of them. And then Dave Gibbons will do it, and then somebody else will do it. And you think, wow, where's all these people? Where are all these people coming from? You know?
I wonder how much each one was inspiring the next one to keep. Oh
yeah, there was a lot of synergy going on. There's a great documentary out, Thrill Power, I think it is. It's over on Amazon Prime, where they have a really nice long interview with Pat Mills, who's the guy who is behind all of it. Yeah, and he sits there and Pat doesn't have a filter, and he'll sit there and he'll tell you exactly what he thinks about all of this stuff. And it's amazing to sit there and watch, because Mills was one of those people like MC Gaines, like in to an extent like Lee. Lee was not like Lee, because Mills created a lot of this, or co-created a lot of that material that was in 2000 ADs when he was editor there. He did a lot of that stuff, wrote a lot of that stuff. Wrote a lot of that stuff and passed full scripts out to his artists. But right person, right place, right time, right talent pool, and the ability to sit there and find them and pick them out and give them the assignments, that's a talent. You know, anybody who's put books together, or who's run as an editor-in-chief for any type of, no matter how big or small, knows finding the right people is the key to having a great book. And Mills and MC Gaines with the EC line, and Lee with the Marvel material were there, found them, used them, you know, and created some of the key points in comics.
Oh yeah.
You know, and those 2000 ADs stand right up there with anything over here.
Oh,
in America, and surpasses the majority of that stuff.
Oh yeah, and
that's why it's just so good.
I would say that in terms of any kind of American equivalent to what the British comics were offering, there's really only a handful of artists over in America here that really even would come close to what was done on a regular basis. Guys like Hal Foster or Alex Raymond, but you know, precious few others. But it's like you said, Glenn, it's just this nonstop pool of incredible talent that just would pick this stuff up, and it's like hardly anybody ever dropped the ball that I could. Well, I don't know them that well, but
so you don't know everything that happened behind the scenes. The key thing with the 2000 ADs is they wouldn't run a story until it was done. And a lot of these were multi-chaptered stories. So he never blew a deadline. He just had a large backlog of material.
Oh, and it was all these artists ready to pick up. And
you go through those Judge Dreds, like we were saying earlier, all of this top talent was there. Boom, 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 doing all this crazy stuff.
He even had to create an inbuilt filter for getting good artists and good writers by using the
thrill
whatever
future
it was,
shocks
future shocks
shock story.
So they get people in to do short stories on whether you're art or writing, and it'd be like, all right, this is good, we can put them on something else. So it was all sort of self-generating. It was brilliant.
He had it down to a machine, but it's amazing the quality that came out of there. We can't not mention in my heart 2000 ADs without noting Carlos Esquerra too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Esquerra is just amazing. Ian Gibson, again, just amazing stuff. Individual look to this stuff, and just
because we were talking about that the other day about being unique.
Mhm.
and think about those artists. Every one
Yeah.
of them looked unique. You could pick every one of them out and go,
Mhm.
oh, that's a Carlos Osquero, or that's a Ron Smith, or that's a Brian Bolland. You can just pick them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to see their names. You can pick them
No.
out, and that's special.
And
That's
it
what you
wasn't
should be driving
people.
for.
It wasn't people getting jobs in the office because they drew exactly like somebody else.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. There was no
These are-
house style for 2000 AD.
These are professionals with
in
their
fact-
own
Was it-
individual styles that just
I-
went
in
Was
fact, I
it
even
was
had
it
a-
John Wagner who wrote Judge Dredd most of the time?
I think
A lot
John
of it
Wagner had a
during
lot
a
of
period.
It, yeah,
Because
Alan
he
Grant.
died. He died. Was it John Wagner who died recently?
I don't know.
There's
Alan
been a
Grant
number of
died
them
recently.
passed.
Alan Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alan
I only know
Grant
the
passed.
Queen
Alan
died
Grant,
because she's
yeah,
the
I heard
Queen.
about he passed away.
yeah. The Queen passed away. Yeah.
No,
That's all I know, mate.
no,
You just
I
you
know
just
that-
heard about that? Yeah,
Well, it was on the news. It was on the news.
gotcha.
No,
As
I know
wandered
that
past the room.
I know that with the Philippine school of artists, I know that they have this really a huge underlying current. I'm not sure how to say it, but they have a very strong sense of human anatomy studies and figure drawing in a lot of their teachings down there in the Philippines, or that whole area, where a lot of these artists as kids get exposed to all this great classical training and all this.
Exactly right. Classical. That's the
Yeah.
key. Yeah.
Now, would you guys, Glenn and Russ, would you guys say that there's a strong undercurrent of that over there in
I think there is to do with the style of maybe the inking part of it, like Alcala. Like Bolland is very. He's not as loose as Alcala, is he? But he's got that the strong blacks in there, you know.
I think the strong anatomy as well.
Mhm.
I mean the figure drawing.
Yeah.
Brian Bolland's figure drawing. Wow.
Yeah,
just
perfect, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, and all the guys in, even down the guy we can't say the last name of, Mike. Is it Mahoney?
Mahoney,
I don't know, because he did. He worked on some 2000 AD, and he also worked on Judge Dredd, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you could always pick out. Sorry, that's my alarm. You could always pick out his style, and a bit like Kevin O'Neill. Him and Kevin O'Neill both had a very, very harsh style.
Yeah.
And it was, but yet you could see that they knew what they were doing. You could see that underneath, the underpinning of it was incredibly good. So it was their style that was reaching out rather than them trying to do something different with the basics.
And
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
those
of
are
those
something
key
different.
classic strips have also been released, like those case files out there. You can get full volumes of 400 or 500 pages of Rogue Trooper or Strontium Dog or Nemesis, especially. It's got a phenomenal volume out, all in black and white.
They did do experimental
Nice
things
and
as
thick.
well. There was a guy called Shaky Kane. Do you remember Shaky Kane, Glenn?
No, I don't remember.
He was.
that
I think he was desperate to be Jack Kirby. Because he did some very. I'm never here to put other artists down. I didn't like it.
Well, the thing is, I
just didn't like it. So compare that.
Oh wow.
Okay, to Bolland or even to what was the guy you were talking about? The one that did the RoboCop, not RoboCop.
Robo Hunter, Ian
Robo
Gibson.
Hunter, Ian Gibson.
Ian
See,
Gibson.
I'm not a big fan of Ian Gibson's work. It just doesn't talk to me. But I
That's
tell you
Ian
what,
Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of it because it just
That's
you
not
know
a
what,
bit- that's
it's
not a good-
everything pleases every eye. But
Right.
I can look at it and go, wow, this guy
you-
knows what he's doing.
I
That's
think
You know
not
what I mean?
Ian's best work on that Garth cover,
No.
in my opinion.
No, it's
No.
not. No, I think
But-
Ian's best work was on. It's just gone out of my head. What's it called? That strip he did in 2000 AD.
Robo
Robo
Hunter.
Hunter.
Halo Jones.
Halo Jones
Jones,
as well,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was never a fan, but you could see like really, really good quality work.
And
But
there's
in all
a
fairness
spot.
to 2000 AD, they did try experimental stuff. They tried
Yeah.
to get other
Yeah, a
people
lot of
and,
stuff.
you
One
know,
of the
throw
great
stuff at the
aspects
wall.
of 2000 AD.
There's a spot in that documentary where they point out Halo Jones only had a third of the story printed.
Yes.
And they ended it at the end of book 1, and Alan
this
Moore
book-
had had it written out to book 3.
It's the last one that isn't published. The first 2 are published.
Oh, the first 2 are published.
First 2 stories, yeah.
He did publish the third one though, just not in 2000 AD, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Never seen it.
I
No,
don't
I don't think it was even drawn.
Because they have an interview with Neil Gaiman. He said that he was talking to Alan Moore about Halo Jones, and he told him how the story went. This is by the time he got to the end of the story, he said Gaiman was in tears. This is because the story was that good and that nobody's going to see it. It just broke him up.
That's sad.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, I've always been impressed by so much of the British work, because it seems as if almost everybody subscribes to the school of thought of saying, master your foundation, master your fundamentals, and then you can reach beyond what that teaches you to really, really stretch your skills in the medium. And
again, remember, here in the States, we only see the cream. We see the best of the best that's lucky enough to come over this way.
Yeah.
We don't see everything that's done. We don't see Dennis the Menace on a regular basis. We don't have any access to Beano or any of that stuff unless we catch somebody who's, you know, selling a book that they brought over.
Yeah, you have to really dig for it. But then
you do have to dig for it.
But then considering how much British stuff we see over here, it's amazing the sheer volume of good work we're seeing.
Luckily, a lot of that stuff's collected now. There's a stainless steel rat collection out by Esquire that ran through 2000 AD. That was amazing, by Harry Harrison. Off the books.
Yeah,
Robo Hunter, Nemesis. I could go. I've got an entire shelf pretty much dedicated to those 2000 AD collections.
Okay, now
so many Strontium dogs. There's like 5 or 6 Rogue Trooper books that are nice and thick, and that collection of story and art in there is just unbelievable, and it's of a character nobody over here, practically nobody knows.
All right,
how great this stuff is. It's just, it gets real irritating. You're sitting there reading it going, that should be a movie. That should really be a movie.
Yeah.
Robo Hunter should be a movie. Rogue Trooper should be a movie. Strontium Dog should be a movie.
Who owns it all now? Who owns it all now?
Anybody wants to talk about is Dred. Rebellion runs it.
Rebellion. They have made noises about using some of their other IPs.
And they desperately need to. Yeah.
Wasn't David Bowie's son? Sorry, Scott. David Bowie's son, Duncan, is making a film or was producing a film about Rogue Trooper recently.
Oh, no kidding.
That would be nice.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was going to say, I want to test everybody's memory here. I'm imagining Alan Davis did this drawing of these 2 characters. I think Bolin did it also. It was a pair of characters. One was a very skinny, long, elfin-eared type character, and the other character was
that's GR and Quinch, is it?
That's it.
Yeah, GR and Quinch.
Yep. I just always thought that was the coolest.
That was all Alan Davis, and
was it all that?
Alan Moore wrote all those.
Okay, just
GR and Quinch. I got that book too.
DR and
Quinch. There's only so much of that material though. There we are.
That's it. There it is. Yep.
DR and Quinch's
Guide to Life.
Yeah.
Look at that. DR and Quinch's totally awesome Guide to Life.
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh my God.
And that had, who did that have in there? That had some great artists.
And talk about an anarchist strip. That's what exactly two kids that are rebelling, 2 alien kids that are rebelling in an alien world. Yeah.
Oh God. I just love it.
Maybe not so much kids, but young adults. Yeah.
What I liked was the fact
crazy
that
stuff.
Heavy metal over here would give space for a lot of this material that would open us up to it, and then eventually we started seeing the actual material float over here. But
heavy metal was a lot more French, especially at the start than
this massive English. Mickey take of a very famous actor, very famous on the waterfront.
Yeah.
Oh, Marlon Brando. Oh God.
I could have been a contender.
I could have been a contender. It's
God.
And that was the kind of subversive stuff that was going on in 2000 AD. So.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Constantly taking the mic. Oh, there's a great none of you guys, none of the Americans will know this, but Glenn will know it. Barry Normal.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Is that
brilliant.
is that Clive James?
Yeah, it's Clive James there.
Oh my God! Look at that.
So what they've done is they've taken these TV personalities which were popular at the time in the 80s, and they've made them aliens. So they've effectively given them this alien-like look.
Yeah.
And said, right, okay, everybody on that planet looks like this person.
Oh my God!
And Alan Davies did it so well. Absolutely brilliant book. If you can get hold of that,
Yeah. Also out from Titan. There's, I think, Rebellion has even released. They don't call it the Totally Awesome Guide to Life, but it's a DR and Quinch collection. Yeah.
You know, the one thing I always wish I wish we could see a lot more of, but Alan Davis is so good at doing the sword and sorcery, you know, the Conan stuff and all this. I mean, when he introduced that one barbarian type character into the Excalibur work he was doing over here with Marvel, I just thought his stuff was so very good. I don't know if anybody's got access here online to some of the Conan drawings that Davis did, but I always thought that he was so excellent at that type of stuff. And I would love to see a lot more of that, because that's easily right up there with Buscema and Adams and all these guys that did stuff over here.
I'm funny on Alan Davis. I run hot and cold on his stuff.
Really?
Sometimes I can look at it and go, oh, I really don't like that. And then other times I can look at it and think, God, that's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I don't know what it is. It must be the subject matter. I think that stuff he did in DR and Quinch, I think, is genius.
Could be the deadline time as well.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, this is probably unfair on Alan Davis as an artist as well, because I wasn't that into the second incarnation of Captain Britain at all. Okay. I liked him the first way round, back when it was just Captain Britain, before he had to be involved with X-Men and mutants and stuff like that. So I wasn't a fan, but yeah, he's a masterful artist. He really is.
You know, the few times I've seen him over here in America when he would come to a few conventions, I saw him one time at a show here in Michigan somewhere. And the thing is, what I was always so impressed by is how composed he always was. Because I saw that there was a line of people obviously looking to get a sketch, a convention sketch from him, and I was one person away from getting in that line. But I remember watching him, and this person comes up to him and says, "I would like a sketch of." He named two characters, a male and a female, and this guy just mentioned their names, didn't say anything about what he wanted, or just I'd like to have these two characters. And Alan put his pencil down, folded his hands, looked at the guy square in the eyes, and says, "You realize I do not do pornography." He goes, "Oh no, I don't want anything naughty or anything, just these two characters." It was fine. Then he went back to sketching. It was just so amazing.
This is the way it's going to be.
Oh my God! It was just a gape. That was just amazing.
Fazerko in the house. Hey, Fazerko. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Fazerko.
Facebook user put out a link for a Melvin 2 coming soon. And launching October 23rd. Charles Santino says howdy.
Good day,
Just say hi back to you, Charles. He also did Storm, Fazerko says, and a Viking comic. I'm not sure.
Probably what you're talking about
Alan Davis.
I think you might be talking about Don Lawrence. Yeah,
Don Lawrence. Okay.
Don Lawrence. Yeah. He did Storm.
Storm. Yeah, that's your European property. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks amazing. We've been showing off some great artwork today. Hey, Fazerko. Good morning, everyone. Blue Teddy.
Is Don Lawrence still alive?
Blue Teddy narrations.
No. Oh no.
I think he died in 2003.
Oh, it's too bad.
See some Indonesian creators there, like April Kasbian Toro, who has a style like Don Lawrence. Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
They probably have the same influences. That's what it is.
I wouldn't know. You know, one of the
is that
yeah,
Scott?
It's me.
Is that Scott?
As
No, if you want in, I'll send you a link.
It's not Scott. It's not
It's
really
not
him.
Scott. It's a Scott imitator.
It's actually
it's Susie. It's Susie, isn't it?
It's a deep fake.
We brought him in to beat the spread.
The Scarlet Pumpernickel. Well,
I'll have to clip
Because
that
like and
cartoon
twist
now
and
for
discuss
whenever you're on.
exactly. It's an event. But you know,
Luke says headed to church. All right, wait. Okay. Luke,
two of the
good to hear from you.
the one of the latest guys I've been following on Facebook is Frank Reyes, I think it is, another Filipino great. He has this very cool style, actually very what some would describe as almost European style in his inking and hatching style, but is right along the same lines as Nestor Redondo and
Alcala,
Frank Cochin and all those guys.
Ernie Chan.
Yeah, just amazing. Just amazing. So, and he mostly does, again, the sword and sorcerer, the fantasy, the blood and thunder stuff. It's just wonderful.
How would you spell that last name?
Reyes, I believe. Frank Reyes.
I've told these guys before, but you know, Alcala used to draw Japanese tanks and things in the war. I've told that, you know, I've said this many times before.
Oh, really?
When he was a kid, when the Japanese, you know, came into the Philippines in the war, when he was about 12 or 13, he used to go down and get this, he used to go down into the Japanese camp. So they'd see this kid and just ignore him, just a kid running around. And he would actually draw the types of tanks and trucks,
holy crap,
and the guns and take them to the Americans. And the Americans not only knew that they had 5 tanks, they knew what kind of tank it was.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and if they'd have found him, well, you can imagine what they'd have done with him. You know, if the Japanese had found what he was doing, but that's what he used to do. And he used to go down, he used to draw the soldiers, the weapons they had, and the jeeps and the trucks and all the stuff.
Oh my
and
God.
They'd know exactly what they had. They've got 6 of these, 5 of those. These guys are armed with this.
And he was just this kid doing sketches, and they just
didn't take any notice of him.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how mad is that? How crazy is he to do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've
Well,
never heard that story.
Probably got a few US dollars for doing it too.
I bet he got a few candy bars off the Japanese soldiers as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
his weight in chocolate. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
hey kid, here's a $5 if you can get into whatever city and do some drawings for us. I'd appreciate that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if he was doing it the other way as well, giving the Japanese American troops.
Might have been doing that as well.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
That's how we go. I mean, and you know, isn't it funny that there what an advantage that was, considering the cultural prejudice you know, people would have against just seeing kids doodling, figuring it's nothing, doesn't mean anything, it's worthless.
Yeah.
And yet, who knows how much of a turn in the tide that might have made for this attack or that movement or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And it was all from just doodling and sketching, but hey, it could make a huge difference, you know, with its application. It's unbelievable.
I mean, he was probably doing portraits of the Japanese soldiers and giving them to them just so they left him alone, type of thing, wasn't he? You know, I'm just sitting here drawing you, but he was actually drawing a tank as well and all that kind of thing. You know.
Oh yeah,
fabulous artist.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if he did that purposefully, or did he do it and then they found that the Americans found that they could use this, or was it?
I don't know, but as far as I do know, he was taking it to them.
Wow.
He found an American soldier, you know, and he would give it because he was a kid. He could go anywhere, I suppose, and just he would just say, "Look at this. This is what's down in the harbor today," you know.
Wow.
Might have gotten a few bags of candy, like we said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Here, kid. Here's a candy bar. Here's my chocolate ration. Thanks. Take that up to headquarters immediately.
Yeah, but could you imagine the repercussions if they'd have found out what he was doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We would never have known him, would we? We'd never have known him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's brave as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that Alcala was known to also. He was not only artistically gifted, but he was also mechanically gifted. He actually made his own self-feeding inking brush.
Oh wow!
At a time when people were still just simply dipping into a thing, but he actually created this decades ahead of its time. This series of brushes that would feed ink into the bristles, so he wouldn't have to be dipping all the time, and he would just
Wow.
keep
That,
So-
that
Think
must
of all
be,
the time that saved.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'm
me
gonna
using
say-
one of these,
yeah, something
that's
like
his
that.
idea.
Yeah,
wow.
And
So
I should now stop feeling inferior because I'm not using a dipping brush.
exactly.
I'm
Oh
actually
no,
using a brush pen.
Yeah.
no, it's like everything else you're saying. It's the end product that counts.
Yeah.
How you get there.
That must be why he was able to do that fantastic inking on those Conans then with all that detail in, because he didn't have to dip his brush all the
That
time.
has
He
now
just
Just sit there and
Yeah.
move that handle on. Yeah.
Well,
I'm definitely going for that at some point.
the
I'm going to
fact
get
that
one of them now.
yeah, the fact that he
They're
just
great.
oh, it's a wonderful stuff. Yeah, Russ, you're that's quality materials right there.
This
Because I know those pens, those brush pens or brushes, they use archival quality India ink.
yeah.
So,
They'll
you
use
know.
whatever you squirt into them.
Oh
You-
yeah,
These Pentel ones, you actually have to cut out the valve so that you can refill them,
yes,
rather than buy refills all the time.
Sure,
but
sure.
they work a treat. I did get myself. What's this one? This was Pentel as well. But it's no, not that one. This one. There you go. Proper Japanese one. Very nice. Very
Oh, yeah.
nice indeed.
Hang on,
But
hang
the trouble is the
There we go.
ink. So you've got like a refill in it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that you can refill the cartridge. But the problem I've found with it is that it really doesn't have a good flow of ink. I've been because it cost me 40 quid.
Sure.
Wow.
So I wanted to keep going with it, keep going and see if I could make something happen with it. But the flow just isn't good enough.
You can't
the-
move
the-
quickly. You
Yeah,
have to
the
go
brush
slow.
stroke. Yeah, the brush
Yeah.
stroke is fine, but I'm finding it's thinning the ink out. It's really weird. Whereas
Yeah.
these Pentel ones, which are 10% of the price of that,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
and they're working brilliantly, absolutely superb. So
Oh yeah.
these are the things I use now,
Just awesome stuff.
along with bizarrely the Tombows. Tombow
Yeah, the
brush
combos
pens.
are good too.
They're thin, but instead of you using like a 0.5 or something on a thin stroke, you can actually get a thick to thin ratio in your
Yeah,
stroke.
Yeah.
So it still looks like it still creates a brush stroke
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than just a mechanical line. So
This-
even with a fine pen, you're getting what you want out of it.
It's awesome. I know
So
that.
he was totally ahead of his time.
Oh
Like,
my
as you were
God,
saying. Yeah.
decades ahead. But I remember hearing the story that Alcala would just absolutely, he stunned into silence Dick Giordano, who had gone down to the Philippines to explore this notion that there were these great artists that they could use back in the 60s.
Mm.
And when he went down there, he would see all this beautiful work that Alcala was doing on some of his own sword and sorcery stuff. You know, I forget the name of the character, winged helmet, very Conan-like. Anyway, he went down there and Giordano asked him, how many of these pages can you do a day or a week?
Right.
And Alcala named this ungodly amount. And
Huh.
Giordano thought he was lying. And he said, now, you're sure about this? And he goes, yeah, I'm sure I can do it. And he said, well, what if you were to do this type of detail? And he brought out like a Jew Kubert page. And Alcala looked at it and said, that much detail? Oh, probably 3 less a day than I said I could do. He was naming like 8 or 9 pages a day. And
Jeez.
Giordano didn't believe him. And he was just, but they gave an assignment. And by God, he turned in the assignment days ahead of time. And it was just all this lush, the inking we seen on Savage Sword of Conan and all that.
Yeah,
All this stuff we see him. And Giordano was just, oh my God. And this is Giordano, the guy, Mr. Inker, superb in America. And he was just gobsmacked. He could not even believe it. And that's where we saw all that great, House of Mystery stuff and from DC and just unbelievable work.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'd like to do in the future. I'd like to have a go at doing that kind of detail. I can't do it at the moment because I'm on schedules and there's no way that I could produce that kind of work in the same time. But I'd definitely like to have a go at doing that kind of thing.
But it does explain his run on Savage Sword of Conan, too.
Doesn't it? To be
He
able
was
to do
there
it that
all the
quickly.
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it was beautiful work.
And don't
and
forget,
it opened the doors to all these other great guys. E.R.
Yeah.
Cruz.
Yeah.
And,
And don't forget those Alcala pages on those Conans, as far as I understand it, were barely laid out by John Buscema. He wasn't doing full pencils, as far as I understand.
Yeah, not totally tight pencil. Maybe the very beginning, but
when he was knocking those inks out like that, I mean, if you think of it just like a, I'll say it, a rough layout, and then he puts that ink on top of it.
But that's the difference, isn't it? With and this is not to knock current day inkers at all, because they still do a fantastic job. But back in the day, you often found that an inker wasn't just an inker. It wasn't. They were an embellisher. They were an artist in their own right.
Oh yeah.
And what they were getting wasn't full pencils. They were getting layouts. They were getting breakdowns. That had all the appropriate stuff in them. All the style of John Buscema was in there, in the way that the characters moved, in the way that they were drawn, the range of emotion, all that kind of stuff was there. So they had those things to key off, but everything else was them.
Oh yeah.
What I would like to have seen was when in sort of 1964, when Kirby was drawing everything and then everything else as well, and you got people like George Roussos, I think the name is, and he, to me, ruined the artwork. But when you see the actual pencils from some of that artwork, I don't think they photocopied all of it, but I've seen some pencils from those times. It's very, very rough. It is really a layout that Kirby's producing.
Yeah.
But when you get somebody like Joe Sinnott on it, who's an embellisher, like Russ says, he just makes it beautiful. So I would really love to be able to. Couldn't happen, could it? Because they're all dead. But I would love to get Joe Sinnott to re-ink all those early FFs.
Yeah. Just that run of Thor. Thank you.
All the way up to 45 when he went regular.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to work with an embellisher inker like that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Where I could where I wouldn't have to go any further than my sketched layouts. Do you know what I mean? And let them take the reins, as it were.
I think
and see what they would do with it.
Who was it who did the Spider-Man with where Kraven the Hunter killed him and buried him?
I believe that was Zek.
Mike Zek.
Well, Mike Zek's the same, wasn't he? He was just doing basically layouts. And was it Bob McLeod who was doing the inks on top of it?
And John Beatty.
Connected to Bob McLeod on Facebook. I follow him on Facebook. And he puts out a lot of his pages.
Yeah, but the Mike Zek is like a Kirby to me. He does these, and John Buscema does these fantastic layouts where there's a bare minimum of line there, and anybody with like Joe Sinnott or these guys, these top guys with a brush, and they just go in there and they just put them blacks in there and everything.
And again, what you were saying, Glenn, it's all first line stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you see, I see some of these some inkers these days, which again, not putting them down, but the style difference is that you see these close-up examples, these 2 or 3 minute videos where it shows guys doing these inkings, and they're just laboring over every line and every crosshatch, and I keep thinking, my God, just get to it.
Yeah.
Because
just get to it.
Joe Sinnott, I mean, every brushstroke you see was just one stroke, and that's it. He would just go on to the next one. But you see these guys, and they're scratching out these brush strokes that should just be one stroke, and they're 2 or 3 times they're going over it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it just drives me crazy. Just God.
Your brush are supposed to do the varying line ways. That's the whole point of a brush.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because there's a great video online where Joe Kubert is actually showing how to ink. I don't know where it is, but it shows him inking, and he's talking while he's doing it. And he said one of the greatest things I ever heard about how to improve your inking. He said, when you're doing it, just let the pen or the brush just touch the paper lightly and just make it. And then just go on to the next one. And it was just the most incredible advice, as opposed to bearing down and working over every line. But he said, just let it barely touch the paper. And I thought, oh, God, that's so true.
One of the most amazing things I saw recently was Mobius. And he was doing the lettering with the brush.
Oh, no kidding!
I think it was on a Blueberry page. He was inking it, but he did the lettering in the balloon with the brush.
Oh, God!
How good is that?
Oh my God!
And again, most of the folks over here all know Mobius from Arzak and some of his really great futurist Inkle, that material. Yeah. They're not aware of his westerns.
Oh,
and how great those are, how pretty those are. Yeah.
Oh, Lieutenant Blueberry is just masterful. Oh my
Just
God.
incredible. Yeah.
Have you seen the color work on that?
Yeah.
Because he didn't go and live in Mexico for a while with his mother.
Yeah,
and he's
Mexico,
got the most,
Arizona.
he's got the most beautiful oranges and yellows and reds of the desert in those
southwestern palette.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Superb.
And the cool thing about Mobius is the story he was working on determined his tools. Like Blueberry was mostly in brush. His sci-fi work was mostly in either quill pen or technical pen.
Oh,
So, I mean, it's just completely masterful. That he would, based on the story he was doing. And I mean, even the sci-fi stuff, like he would do some stuff only in technical pen and some stuff only in quill pen.
Oh, wait, Glenn, bring that up. Randy, can we zoom on that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, look at that.
Oh,
give me just a second here.
Oh,
you're going to be big for a minute, Glenn.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Big Glenn.
Big Glenn.
Big Glenn. Big bad Glenn.
That's sort of Akira style, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Very phallic.
Yeah.
It reminded me of my college days. I must say.
Oh, look at that!
Oh man,
have that front kick.
Yeah.
What Mobius was just—he's another, almost genius level that is so far above so many of us. It's just amazing.
There's a great documentary about him on YouTube.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh. God.
Again, look how loose the lines are.
Yeah.
That's what I fight with all the time, is trying to loosen my lines.
Yeah.
But in a way that works, not just slap it down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that film you were talking about, Scott, with Joe Kubert.
Yeah.
And he was, I think he was drawing some kind of demon on there.
Yes.
And and he blobbed his ink down on the demon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he was just throwing his ink down. and then it ended up just looking superb. It was just
it was
casual drawing and just threw it away kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just wonderful. I mean, you're looking at hands that have probably produced hundreds of thousands of drawings, in its lifetime up to that point. And still, it's just absolutely effortless. I mean, it's just. Yes, there's.
Look at that blue rock.
Oh,
that great blue rock! Look at that, just fantastic sky.
Oh yeah.
Just a great book.
And yet, so many people would probably look at that and say, "Oh, what avant-garde choices and all this." But think, no, if you actually went out to the Southwest, you would see, the blue subshadows on these rocks and all that.
Look at that. That's lovely.
Oh, it's fantastic,
God.
Isn't it?
Storytelling going on in there.
Oh yeah, just crazy, beautiful stuff. And the story itself is deep and just incredible. Here, there's a nice little establishing shot right there.
Oh, look at Jesus! That. Oh my God!
Look at that! Look at that purple house.
Yeah, and the subtle perspective. That subtle eye level down to a slightly downward shot. Oh God! Just without being extreme or overblown.
Look. The guys, the back of the horses, all the detail up there on the side.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do it.
No.
But did it because it was pretty.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was fast too.
Yeah.
Oh, was he really? I can believe
it. We were talking about artwork not being collected and printed. There's published. There's when he was working on Dune with that. Is it Jodorowsky guy?
Yeah,
Jodorowsky.
Yeah, he produced something like 300 drawings. What's he called? Yoda what? The guy Jodorowsky.
Yeah, I believe it's Jodorowsky's. Yeah,
Jodorowsky.
He asked him to produce. I think it was 15 drawings, initial character design and set designs for his film, and he came back a month later with 300. Now, somebody's got those. Why they've never been published as a volume? But he might. I mean, I'm first in the queue for that one.
Well, he did Jodorowsky did an entire Bible for Dune, and he had I think it was 12 of them made. I mean, they were thick with all of these artists' illustrations in it, because we've discussed this on one of the podcasts just recently. He went out and found Geiger, he found Sid Mead, he found Mobius. He went out and found all of these great designers, and he wanted to sell a studio on doing Dune. There's a great documentary out about it. And he left one of these thick Bible books, hardbound, in every studio that he was at. And everybody passed on the Dune project. But ever since then, all the way through the 80s, there are key points in almost every science fiction movie that goes back to one of those drawings that was in that book.
Wow.
Where there's no doubt that book had this huge influence on 80s science fiction, RoboCop, Star Wars, Close Encounter, all of this stuff, all Alien, and all of these guys. Geiger gets work in Alien. Sid Mead gets work in dozens of movies after Blade Runner, and dozens of movies after that. All of those people, Dark Star. And it all came from that one big volume that nobody sees, those books, if they ever come up for auction, if they're still whole, because I imagine they got ripped to shreds. And this is what we're looking at.
Do you know what I'd love to see as well? This is a bit sideways from what we're talking about, but 2001 Space Odyssey was filmed in 75 millimeter for the surround
sound,
the view, whatever. I would like to see a print of those negatives as a book, the 2001 book, a production book maybe, or just of the whole film, of the key points, or maybe just all the frames, just all of them, all 9 million frames, just print them all, and let's see them in a big coffee table size book, so we can just salivate over it and just want to go and lie down and just do nothing.
Yeah, that would. Oh my God! Talk about your ambition. Oh my God, Glenn! Nothing like dreaming big.
Well, you got to do it. Some people got to the moon, so why can't I?
Exactly. It's talking about little scene artwork. And going back to Moebius, I remember there was some tribute volume to Moebius. Moebius. I mean, I'm not sure if that's
Moebius.
But there was a lot of American artists that did tribute to it, and the thing that always got me was that John Buscema was so masterfully. Oh God, not awesome. Buscema was so masterful at what he did, was that he did a drawing of Arzak, I believe. And when I first saw it, I thought that was another Moebius drawing, but it was all John, and he penciled, inked it, and he hand colored it. And I keep thinking, God, he really was in that league, but he rarely ever did things of that extension. He was so very much a journeyman, just crank it out, get it done.
Yep.
And it all just came so easy to him. And that's what always slays me about so many of these superb artists that just unbelievably talented. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I'd love to stand behind Jack Kirby in 1965 when he was just stand behind him for a day and just look over his shoulder and watch him drawing Galactus and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
Because Ross Kirby said that it was like he was tracing it. He'd just pick up a piece of Bristol board and he'd just start in the top left-hand corner and finish at the bottom right, and then just put it down and get another blank sheet. And she said it was like he was tracing it, and he wasn't he? He was projecting it onto the board.
Exactly right.
And he was just going over it because it was all in his head.
Yep.
But I said before that the longest distance in the universe is from your head to your hand, down your arm. Because sometimes you're drawing and you're thinking this isn't what I want and all that kind of thing. But I always get the impression that Kirby, every line, bang on, another page.
There are so many stories, anecdotes about people that say they would watch him draw at a convention, and he would sometimes just start with the belt buckle, and he would just go out from there, and before you know it, there's a finished Captain America. It's just unbelievable.
Crazy stuff. All right, everybody, want to thank you for listening in for this episode of Sunday Funnies for the 25th of September.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week at 9 a.m. It'll probably be a pre-recorded episode. The chat will still be open and monitored, by the way. So keep your porn bots off of our hands, off of our stuff. Blue Teddy says, "Ooh, party, purdy." That's great. He says, "This show is fun for me because I'm a 28-year-old whose main experience to sequential art has been manga. So I get lots of things to look into from watching you guys. We appreciate that, Blue Teddy.
Excellent.
It's part of why we're here is to tell you about why we're so passionate about what we do and the great stuff that we read that influenced us that we think is everybody should see, like those 2000 AD books, like Mobius, like Kirby, all of that stuff. If you haven't seen it, you know, every artist, every creator needs to widen their range as far as possible and discover as much as they can. And not knowing comics history, not knowing sequential art and the artists, the true masters in there is a true shame for a lot of these artists because there's great stuff to learn. Don't dismiss anything, even if you think it's crap. There's something to learn from that if it's in sequential art. I used to hate Don Heck. I used to hate Jack Kirby. I used to think Robbins, who always stuck somebody's foot up next to his head going sideways, always looked goofy to me until you get in and you read and you look and you study and you Robbins Johnny Hazard strip material is unbelievable. I mean, as far as blocking out and composition and the sheer style of his work, I ogle at these people today and appreciate them so much. Yeah, I grew up, you know, I love the oddball artists, your Alex Toths, your Carlos Esqueras, that kind of thing, who have their own individual look, their own individual style. Because to me, that's sequential art. That's somebody's adding their personal vision to a look and a feel of story.
And not only will it expand your knowledge of these various artists, but it also expands your appreciation of the medium as a whole.
Exactly.
Because you realize the diversity and the variety, and it all still comes down to being a quality experience. And it's just amazing. I've always loved digging into all kinds of,
like Randy says, even if you don't like it, or even if it is not very good, you can learn what not to do.
Oh, gotcha.
As well as learn or to try and do what you
everything.
do.
Everything adds to your style.
Yeah.
You know, everything adds to your work.
Everything influences you.
Whether consciously or subconsciously, it's going to help you. And getting as wide a range as possible. You're sitting there going, didn't like that, love this, didn't like that, love this, is narrowing your style down, and your hand-eye coordination is working, you know, with the electrons in your brain in order to improve yourself. You're going to be improved the more you read, the more you do, the more you're exposed to. So you've got to discipline yourself and get in there and realize why these drawings work. Yep.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And
these people sold millions of comics for a reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you know, you should let the natural inclination of the human experience is to absorb.
Yeah.
And to take in what you're seeing or exposed to. Mm-hmm. And it just becomes it's fun as all get out. I have no more fun than doing this, but it'll just make you better all the way around, especially as a participant in it. It's just, it's wonderful. Wonderful.
Mitch, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me down here at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios, where you can find my website, webcomics, apparel store, and socials. And you can also find me Tuesdays here on Indie Comics Network on Dispatches from Outside the Box.
And sometimes Wednesdays on the Zimcast at 8 p.m. Yeah. Scott, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, you can find me here every single Sunday morning without fail. I wish.
Whether we know it or not.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook. That's my handle on Facebook. That little Scott Roseman. That's where you can find me. And I usually hang out there almost every day, just answering messages and doing business. But I also go to various conventions. I'm going to be doing the Grand Rapids Comic Con coming up in November, and might be at Motor City in October. Not sure, but just hanging around here. And I'm going to see if I still can't show up here because I got some money coming to me. You guys are making bets, and I'm not getting any percentage of it. And I'm tired of it. Just don't make me come after you guys.
Well, all you can do is
beat money.
All you can do is beat the spread, make people more angry.
I
the
guess
ones
so.
that are betting against you. Yeah.
I know I'm a winning horse in somebody's stable. I'm not sure.
That's what she said.
Giggity.
Again, my old college days. I can't help it.
Anyway. Yeah, that who did they just Cassandra Peters is going to be at Motor City.
Oh, Elvira.
Matt Smith and Karen Gillian's going to be there.
Oh, yeah, Dr.
Alex
Who.
Kingston's going to be there. Yeah, all in Detroit. Crazy.
Oh, God.
And the guy that was in that group too, the one that was in Legends of
I forget his name. Yeah, I know.
anyway, yeah. He's gotten quite a few roles since then, but he'll be there as well.
Oh.
Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
You can get me at russleach.com. You can find out about the things I do there. You can pick up my last entry on the final run I've got on Doctor Who and Doctor Who magazine next month in October. You can go read Batman in the UK newsstands, as it were, out there. You can find out about more of my work for Marcosia, horror and sci-fi stuff. And also you can pick up Only Death Can Save Us, still available. The first print is still available. And yeah, that's over on Indiegogo. And you can get all of my connections, all my social medias, all about my books over at russleach.com.
And your Only Death Can Save Us, Russ, I just think is wonderful. Just
thank you.
Just
There's another one coming, guys. It's been a bit late, but it's on its way. It's coming.
Few things get in the way. Yeah. Indie Comics Network says, yeah, these guys always have great art to show off. Please consider subscribing to our channel. And Blue Teddy narration says, already subbed. There you go. Tell your friends, Blue Teddy. Let your friends know that we're here. Have them subscribe too. Says, thank you. We're working on a manga-based show. Hopefully coming after the first of the year.
Cool.
Awesome.
Great. I'll be on there when they talk about the old stuff. Talk Miyazaki, I'm there. Want to talk Golgo 13? I'm there. But
otherwise, no.
I go Attack on Titan, maybe. But other than that, says thank you. We're working on a manga base. Okay, Blue Teddy says, nice, looking forward to it. And he says, thanks for the stream, guys. Have a lovely day, everyone. You too. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can get me on the usual things like Facebook and things like that, but you can get all my work on Amazon. There's 10 books I've written there that are on there, and there's also magazines and all kinds of stuff. If you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me at comicsunlimitedmagazine@gmail.com. And you can see me on these podcasts with Randy on Fridays and Sundays, and the Comics Unlimited podcast on Thursdays on Ted Davis Artistry channel. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And you'll probably find most of these guys here on Sunday morning here for the Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, whenever we can get Scott to show up. Being this pumpernickel that he is.
When you said Scarlet Pimpernel the other day, Glenn, I just about died. I was in the middle of drinking. I think I drink. It's perfect.
Spit take all over his art. There you go. You can also find me on Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. on the Zimcast, which is another show that we host where we talk about the inner workings of the industry from a little bit more opinionated point of view. Not quite with a flash still with a flash in our eye, but more steam coming out of our ears. It's more like it. And this week, I want to talk about the Emperor's old clothes. We all know the new clothes is invisible and that he's really naked walking through those streets. But what about the old, tattered, threadbare clothes? Let's talk about that this Wednesday when it comes to this industry. 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Then we'll be back again for Comics by Night on Friday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 a.m. on the West Coast. Mid brunch for over in Great Britain. So
awesome.
10 in the morning, I believe.
Make sure and bring your avocado.
Bring your avocado toast.
Avocado.
Yeah. A few biscuits. Yeah, no, not biscuits. But anyway.
Rich
a few biscuits.
Are we gonna see Ted Davies come on again at some point?
He was just on here. You missed him.
I know. I saw that rat bastard, and I thought I'm going to get him because he's
Rat bastard. Yeah.
I'll have a word with him, Scott.
Where was he on? He wasn't on he was on the morning show. When did we have him on?
I think he was. Yeah, it was not this week. Was it the last week he was
He
on?
got up real early. Yeah. We were all stunned. But anyway, just like with Scott. So
he was
it's all good.
trying to steal my non-funder. I can't believe it.
Over on Comics by Night, we talk about the inner workings and what you need to do to be in this business. The nuts and bones about it, the nuts and bolts about it, the blood and bones about it, and what you need to do. And we've got a couple of great episodes that'll be coming up here the next few weeks. I'm hoping to have a art instructor join us who does video instructional drawing. So I'm hoping we can get that recorded and in the can. But other than that, we'll see you around. You can find me at Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can always contact me at thezimcast@gmail.com. And soon, you can also find some tutorials over on the Indie Comics Network as well, where I'm doing really quick 15, 20-minute instructionals on how to draw heads. SpongeBob SquarePants is coming up next. So not next on this channel. Straw Nose is coming up next.
Imagination.
All right. And if you want to see any of my stuff, tough. It's all I'm still working on it. I'm working on a book about my last year's worth of experience, and it's moving real slow. So unless you do shirts or signs, right now I'm kind of got a little bit of commercial work I'm in the middle of. So
food money gets in the way.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It does. We'll see everybody soon. This has been the Sunday Funnies. We wish you only the best. Have a great week. Make sure you buy those comics. Tell folks about the comics that you love. Buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours. Make sure you try to leave this business in better shape than what you found it. Will you? Please. And we'll see you all soon.
See ya.
See ya.
Stalling for time. We're gonna run a bump here, and then we'll run the closing. We'll see you. When your timeline reaches its Armageddon, what's a kid to do?
I'm not a...
Snag the keys to your mom's experimental ship, of course.
That's not quite how it happened.
Drift aimlessly in the rift between dimensions, trying to figure out how to operate it.
Now hold on a sec.
Pick up a few hitchhikers.
Hi! Hello.
And maybe solve a disturbing mystery that could lead to the destruction of reality itself.
You know, if there's time... There's always time.
I'm not so sure about that.
Get in on the adventure with the Rift Riders on Indiegogo.
Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.